Welcome, everybody. Welcome. This is your boy Nick, Shank Club NFL. Been a minute since we've been on. Hope everyone's doing well. Hope everyone's staying safe where they are. Hopefully, got a good show tonight. Well, even if our guest can't make it, I know he's on his way to hospital to with his wonderful wife to check up on how things are. Hopefully he'll turn up. If he doesn't, we'll reschedule. It's fine. It's not a problem. We've still got a bit to talk about. Let's bring in my man, Paul. Paul, firstly, did you have an injury over the last few months? I'm not quite sure.
I don't know what you're talking about, Nick. You must have mixed me up with somebody else on social media that's been bombarding your timeline.
Because obviously I'd heard that you could be injured, but I wasn't sure, so I just thought I'd get the lowdown from you. How is things? How are you?
No, I appreciate that, buddy. Been a minute. Thanks for having me on. So you'll be pleased to know that technically I'm fully recovered, as in the boot is off. I'm back to driving. I'm back at work. So 5 months and 3 days after the rupture, and full steam ahead to try and run by the end of the year. Whether I do that, Nick, I don't know, given my injury record for this year. But yesterday was a good day. I was out at the local flag football team watching tournament there yesterday, obviously chatting all things NFL with everybody from around the country that was there. So that was good. And just getting ready for football, mate. I know you're excited for it. So, yeah, when you text me earlier to say, jump on with me, I thought it's been a while. And when I looked back, May the 21st, Nick, was the last time.
Was it really?
Yeah. And we talked about a certain number 5 then, and I'm sure we'll talk about a certain number 5 tonight.
Number 5. I wonder who that could be. Are you talking about the 49ers, obviously? That number 5?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, depending obviously if, and we are expecting hopefully Adrian Colbert to jump in, former faithful fan favourite. That was a lot of F's without saying fuck, by the way. I hope you noticed that. Hoping he's going to join at some point. He is on his way to the hospital because his wife is expecting a child, so they're on their way to that. So hopefully he can join. I've asked for a few others to join as well for a bit of 49ers chat. But yeah, so May 21st, it's a long time ago. So give me your thoughts on what's happened between May the 21st and now. The Jimmy saga is still rumbling on. I don't know if you caught the Nothing But Niners show, something I wanted to touch on. The leak of the arm fatigue story. Did you hear that rumor? Did you, like everyone else, think that it was Rich Scangarello who was the one that leaked the story, but exclusively Friday night, Saturday morning, I think it was. It was leaked that it was Marag, and you have to say it quietly because it's, What do you think about that? Let's kick off with that. What do you think about that? All the talking heads, oh, it's Scangarello, he's out of a job, it's him, it's this, it's that. But it wasn't. Everybody got it wrong. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, first, I was impressed that you spelled, as you whispered it, right on your tweet. I did see your tweet this morning on the subject. And I think we've said it before, Nick, on this side of the pond, we obviously are reliant on the content creators, the talking heads, the beat writers. So when the arm fatigue story first broke, and I'd never heard of a quarterback suffering from arm fatigue before Trey, then you go away and you do your deep dive, and you read the tweets and you watch the tape. I did think it was the former QB coach. I'm not going to lie, that I was the same as you, possibly everybody else. It was Mike Andrews, I believe, who broke the news. I'm sure you retweeted that out.
Nothing but Niners. Yeah, definitely.
I saw someone come after you this morning on Twitter and you were like, yeah, there's my source. It's there on the same tweet if you just read up. So, I mean, in regards to where do we stand from May the 21st to now, the good news is the team have made it official. Number 10 has been granted to go and get a trade, which means he's excused from training camp, which means next week Trey takes all the reps. Jimmy stays away. For me, That means there should be no controversy. However, as a seasoned 49er fan like yourself, I can't, but it won't be that easy. It's not going to be that easy, is it?
I actually have to remove my glasses because you saying that Jimmy's not going to be there, because I'm such a Jimmy lover. It's making me cry so much because I love Jimmy. Jimmy, I love you. I'm so sorry. Sorry, I just have to get that out there. Yeah. See, I'm not. I don't know. The trade bit, I get all that. I still think he's going to go to training camp. I know what he does.
Well,
if he goes, but you know, at the end of the day, if he doesn't have a trade partner or anything like that, he's not just gonna. I don't think he's not gonna. Well, it's up to him whether he sits it out, but it would be quite a bizarre situation, bearing in mind that, and this has been the biggest thing ever since this Jimmy thing came about and they drafted Trey, and we all know what went on last year and how bad Jimmy was at times, etc., etc. But if Trey goes down, and I'm not saying, you know, they could redo his contract so he's on a lot less money, because I think 27 million for a backup is ridiculous. But let's say they redo his contract, and I don't know, I'm not going to throw any numbers out, and he was on a lot less money. There's a few worse backups you could have, right? Because if Trey goes down, you know who's left. And we saw it when Jimmy went down. We had Mullins and we had CJ Beathard. How did that work out? And we all know Jimmy's not the arm. I get all that. So let's keep it a buck. I know all that. But there's a lot worse people you could have as a backup, right?
No, he's the best backup in the league as he's a starting quarterback. It just getting at this stage now, Nick, where you've got Ian Rappaport releasing a tweet saying that Jimmy's not ready till mid-August. Then the next day you've got Schefter coming out and saying, oh, Jimmy's ready now. He's available for trade. And I think there's a little bit of discord between the team and Jimmy. Obviously, Jimmy and his agent are looking after what's best for Jimmy, which is fair enough. The 49ers are looking after what's best for them. My opinion, for what it's worth, and people want to come after me, I'm sure they will. I don't think he'll be there next week because I think it's a distraction. And I think, like the likes of Grant Cohen and all the beat writers, I think if Trey gets off to a bad start and Jimmy's in and around the building, the clamour will be to put Jimmy in. I do think that the team, Kyle, John, the coaching staff, they're all behind Trey from what I've seen and read and watched. And I think that's the message going into training camp next week. Is Trey's number one. The offensive line's going to be set up for Trey. He's going to get all the reps. And at this stage, Nick, if Jimmy's shoulder isn't fully right, and I'm going to probably make you laugh here, I'm not comparing myself to Jimmy Garoppolo. 5 months into a ruptured Achilles, they've said I can do some gentle walking, some running. I'm nowhere near fit. And if Jimmy's shoulder was as bad as we're led to believe, and if the doctors are saying mid-August, he'd be crazy to try and push a trade ahead next week. He's got to look after himself, for me personally.
Definitely. And I can't believe you compared yourself to Jimmy Garoppolo. Where's your 10 jersey as well?
Well,
but that's another story.
Funnily enough, Nick, I did Let's Talk Sports on Thursday, and I debated should I wear my Jimmy jersey because I'd seen you'd been getting a bit of hate on the spaces the night before. And I had it ready, and I thought, if I put number 10 jersey on, and I'm only new to all this, people will start hating me. So, like you, I bought the jersey, Nick. I know that you've got number 27. I bought an Eric Reid jersey back in the day, purely because it was my 35th birthday when the jersey came out. But I had a 35. I had 2 10 jerseys. I've got Jimmy Garoppolo merchandise. I wanted him to be the answer. However, if Trey is number one and he's the QB, I'll be fully behind Trey. I've been behind
Definitely.
Brian Hoyer and the likes of you mentioned before. Nick, you know.
Sean Hill. But that's another story. It's going to be an interesting, because camp starts Tuesday, I think, doesn't it? So that's going to be quite interesting.
Yeah, 26.
I'm quite looking forward to the updates that you get every day from camp, which is always good. They always do a live hit, I think, on the YouTube channel around about 8:30 every evening, I think, which is always interesting to watch. But yeah, no, it's going to be interesting to see what or how it pans out behind Trey. Because like you, I agree totally. It is Trey's team, but my concerns are if something happens to Trey, what are we left with? That's the issue. Obviously, we've got the superstar that is Mr. Irrelevant that certain people on Twitter build up.
I haven't seen those
Mentioning
tweets.
no names. Yeah, I haven't either. And Daniel Kelly, who's that guy? I've never heard of him either. Incredible, really. But I am intrigued why the leak came out. And bearing in mind, there isn't been leaks for a long time, but they decided to leak this thing about Trey. Or sorry, he, not they, he. And I've had people coming at me today. It's bullshit. It's this, it's that. Well, I believe what Mike, Nothing But Niners, has said on the subject. So why would he make it up? What is your? I mean, the leak side of it. We all know there are no leaks, but all of a sudden this one has come out.
It's a strange one because when I first started watching the 49ers back in 2011, 2012, stuff used to leak out all the time. And I think that was a big reason for John Lynch becoming the general manager. I think when Shanahan was handpicked first, remember, we've said before on this show, Nick, Shanahan is the king of the castle. He was installed first, then he handpicked John Lynch. And a big part of that was to stop the leaks. So I think that's why, rightly or wrongly, all the talking heads assumed it was the ex-QB coach because it didn't seem to make sense to be anybody else. And I've found in the last 2 years since I've started kind of doing podcasts and content creating, the 49ers are a great story. Anything that breaks about the 49ers, you drop it. And social media, I mean, when the news broke of the Jimmy trade, Nick, I'd said to Tracy, because I've been busy with the fantasy football and stuff, I thought nothing's going to happen tonight. We'll have a quiet night tonight. There'll be no football talk. And then the notification pinged up. Jimmy Garoppolo has been officially allowed to discuss a trade. And then the spaces went mental. And I know you were on a space with a couple of people. And I'm not overly worried because the leaks come from someone who used to work at the 49ers. I'd be more concerned if it had come from John Lynch, Kyle Shanahan, someone within the organisation.
I don't think we're ever going to see, or even if it did, I don't think we'd ever see that. But it did make interesting reading as to who it came from, and obviously, if I'm not wrong, he's still in the building, which is strange because he's the guy that does the contracts. So I don't know what to make of it.
That's what I meant. Sorry, like if it was someone from like within the coach staff, but like you said, it's from the other side, and he's had a bit of heat with the way he's done his contract negotiations with Debo, hasn't he? And it's been very well documented how George Kittle said on the Bussing with the Boys, he wasn't happy with his first contract offer, but for the 49ers, thankfully COVID hit and George didn't have to make that decision about not turning up for OTAs and stuff. And going back to what you said earlier, Nick, with training camp, one thing I'm looking forward to next week, good friend of the show, Jason Aponte, will be at training camp next week.
Yeah.
But when my non-49er fans come for me for an update on Trey Lance, and they're like, oh, well, you're not at training camp. Yeah, but one of the more respected people who follows the 49ers will be there. Brad Graham will be there. Jordan Elliott will be there. So like you said, the 49ers themselves will release stuff on YouTube. It's normally about 8:30, 9 our time, isn't it? So
yeah.
It's just, remember, go back to this time last year, I think Trey Lance balled out the first 2 days of training camp. And then what happened, or what appeared to happen, is Kyle kind of put the handcuffs on. Maybe he didn't want it on tape. And a lot of the people around the team, it's well documented what I'm saying, I'm not making this up, they were well confused because day 1 and 2, Trey was balling out, he was airing the ball. And there was a footage where they were doing deep balls, and Jimmy apparently stayed back after practice that day because he wasn't hitting it as deep as Trey Lance.
Yeah, definitely. Sorry, I've just had a reply to a tweet. My friend Teddy, and I love these things, right? So I tweeted out about what I'd heard, and secondhand, obviously from me, second hand. It wasn't me that broke it or anything. Mike Andrews, Nothing But Niners. I replied to someone and said that it was Mike, and he dropped it with Wayne on Nothing But Niners. And my friend Teddy says, Nick believes anything negative about Lance and nothing positive. But whatever you do, don't call him a hater. So I just tweet what I heard on that show. But I'm a hater. I mean, I know I'm living in his head, and I love that because I'll make sure. And you know what his prediction was, and I'm not gonna repeat his predictions, because if I do, I'll get called a hater and a liar, which he's tried to do. But he's already backtracking on what he actually said. His prediction, he's already backtracked. And his latest one, and I'm still waiting for him to confirm if he wants to have a charity bet, is he thinks that Kittle is going to break the single game receiving record for a tight end. And I bet him, not because I'm a hater, but I don't think Kittle is going to get that kind of, shall we say, production. He may do over the season. He may have his best season ever as a tight end, but I can't see him. And forgive me, I haven't got the stats up, but I just can't believe that's going to happen this year with a so-called rookie, even though he's in his second year, QB. So I've said to him, I'll bet you. I don't have a problem. You know, I'll do a. Paul's just dropped out for a second. I'll do a charity bet. Lawrence, good to see you. If you want to hop in, let me know in the comments, and I will bring you in if you want to come on. There you go. You're back.
Sorry, I pressed the wrong button. I went to see the comments. I was going to say, I did see that tweet from Ted, and obviously you've seen my tweets, Nick. 49 Faithful UK. We love George Kittle. We've got the whole Club 85 going on. And at first, I was thinking, did he mean George was going to have the season record? But he talked about one game, and I think it was 210 yards, I believe. Now, I was impressed that you offered the charity bet. I have to say, as a neutral, for want of a better word, your friend, 49ers fan, I saw that this morning, and I said to my other half, it looks like they're going to have a bet for charity, which would be good. But I'd have to lean on your side of the fence. I find it very difficult for George to break that record as it stands at the moment.
It doesn't, to be honest, didn't Teddy offer? Yes, I offered $100, Nick. Look at Nick in that. Look at Nick in his profile picture. Look at that. That's some smooth motherfucker going on there. And by the way, congratulations, Nick. I hear you had 2 wins out of 2 today in your flag football. So well done for that. I offered $100 bet to Teddy for charity. We both picked an animal charity. I don't think it's going to happen. And that's not Trey hate. It could be Brady, Roger, whoever. That's a very, very big thing to do in one game. And I can't remember who it was where he nearly got the record. And he was a few yards short in one game.
I think it was against the Broncos, wasn't it? And Kyle just stopped giving
quite possibly.
It was frustrating as a fan to not see him get the ball.
There we go. There he is. There's the man, the myth, the mystery, the legend. Ryan, what's up?
What's up, gentlemen? How you guys doing? Just got done doing a Faithful Empire, and Paul knows that. So, what's on, gentlemen? How you guys doing? What's going on?
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you. Just hoping Adrian Colbert can jump on. He's on his way to the hospital, but he's hoping that he can jump on, which would be good because he is a faithful 49er favourite. That's twice I've said it. All those F's without saying fuck. I'm really impressed with myself. How are you, Ryan? How's things going with you?
I'm doing perfect, actually. So, nice sunny skies, hot as hell outside, but I'm in here doing my shows. You know, it's a wonderful thing. It is. I love doing this stuff. So, I'm proud to be on here with you guys, like always. Money math, that's right. So, nice seeing you again, Nick. Hey, how you been doing, man?
Yeah, pretty good this end. Yeah, it's been a while. I think Paul reminded me the last time. Excuse me. We did a show was May 21st.
Yeah.
And we're now what? Oh, it's quite a few months. Well, a couple of months ago.
And
so
of
yeah,
course,
I've been doing good.
Paul Sorry, bud.
Well, I was quite confused because he put a tweet out this week that he's actually had an injury, and I didn't realise he'd had an injury and been on crutches for all that time. It's quite bizarre because I didn't know. Did you, Ryan? Put you on the spot. Did you know Paul had an injury?
And what was the injury?
I know it's an Achilles, so I know. If I know anything about anything else happened to him.
Yeah, it's weird. I just didn't know. Paul, I just did not know you'd had an injury.
It's not like me to post on social media, gentlemen. So that's probably what confused you. So
Yep.
That is exactly what it is. Lawrence, currently blowing trees. I can't remember if you mind that on your channel. I don't mind. You want to come on, Lawrence, and you want to blow some trees? Obviously, I know what you mean.
What's up, Lawrence? What's up, brother?
Mav, if you want to come on, let me know. Drop me your emails on Twitter. I'll get you both in here. Yeah, come along. It's fine. Ryan.
Yes, sir.
Training camp starts Tuesday. Does Jimmy Garoppolo, and we discussed this before you came on, does Jimmy Garoppolo come to training camp? Does he not? What are your thoughts on the thing? And also the leak regarding the arm fatigue came from Parag Marathe, who's still on the team. That was broke on Nothing But Niners over the weekend, Mike Andrews. What's your thoughts on both of those things?
I don't know. I think the fatigue is, I don't know if it's blowing smoke or what, but I know for a fact that by Tuesday, I don't know, man. Unless they're hiding something, I don't see Jimmy going anywhere for some reason. I just don't see it. Because we've got rid of him by now, you know? That's what I'm saying about Jimmy's situation. But if we do keep him, it'll be a backup. If we do keep him. I'm just saying if we do. But
yeah, I was saying earlier, Ryan, I can't see him being there next week purely because of the time of the injury. If you look at Rappaport released a tweet saying Jimmy's shoulder mid-August. Next day, Schefter's saying he's ready. The Schefter tweet struck me as that was Jimmy and his agent basically, we're ready, we're open for business, come and get us. I think that they want him to be cut because then it gives Jimmy his freedom to pick where he wants to go. But the problem they've got at this point is their options are very limited, aren't they? I'm sure you've talked about that. I know I have been MIA on the Faithful Empire. I was just saying to Nick before we started, it was very confusing today on this side of the pond, getting the two text messages and trying to coordinate the time. So I jumped in the comments on your show when I just got back home, and then obviously jumped on for Shank Club, and great to have you here, touching base. So did you just talk about Jimmy on your show tonight then? Jimmy and Trey?
Yeah, we did.
Go follow. Go check
oh
the
my
link.
goodness. Jeez. I didn't want to talk about him, but the rest of them did. So I just put my 2 cents into it and say, I don't know if I see him leaving by Tuesday or getting traded out or anything.
He won't leave by Tuesday, but I think what's happened is the good news for me, Ryan, is the team coming out and saying he's able to be looking for a trade.
Yeah.
I mean, he can meet there next week and there's no controversy, there's no drama. He's excused from being in the facility. He needs to rehab. He needs to get better. That for me was the news this week. But
sorry to just jump in quickly, Lawrence. Can you DM me your email address on Twitter so I can get you on. Mav, I've sent you a link if you want to come on. Carl is going to be coming on. I need a couple of minutes, so Carl's just turned up now, so I'll just bring him in, and then
Carl.
I'm just going to head off for a couple of minutes.
Yo, Carl.
KB, what's up?
What's up, Carl, bud?
Up? How are you?
So nice of you to see you again. I wish I shared the same optimism as you.
Listen, we can't have no negative shit. I'm the negative Nelly. I'm the one that takes all the heat. Mav, if you're watching, I've sent you the link. I need to step away for a few minutes and I'll bring you back on. Carl, good to see you, mate. I will be back very, very shortly. Nature calls and all that jazz. So I'm just going to throw a hand grenade. Carl, Jimmy Garoppolo starting for the Niners week 1 or not?
No.
Yes, Carl.
Let's say straight up no. Come on. We've been around this fucking roundabout I don't know how many times now. No, Lance is starting. Lance has got to be starting now. I mean, Jimmy's had his chances, and you know, you can't justify giving up 3 first-round picks and not starting Trey in his second season. You can't. So I don't see. I really don't see the point in it. I made my feelings perfectly clear on the last Shank Club show regarding Trey Lance, and I think it's time for him to grow. It's time for him to start taking the reins of this offense. It's down to Trey Lance at the end of the day, Paul.
Yeah, I caught you short the other night, Carl. Good to see you back on, man. I know when we touched base at the start of the season, you've rebranded as KB Sport, and obviously I've kept an eye on what you're doing on socials, and you've been doing a bit of the English football stuff. So it was great to see you back on with Nick. He'd sent me the text. It was like 10 o'clock on a Thursday night. He was like, "Do you want to jump on?" And I was like, "Oh, it's a bit late in the UK with the kids." And then I saw you jump on.
I jumped on with CT Ruthless, who was actually very, very good, by the way. Big up to him and his channel as well. But yeah, no, I thought I just stepped in to see what all the fuss was about, and I kind of wish I shouldn't have bothered because this was getting it was borderline dick swinging contest in between Nick and Teddy H6. At one point, I thought, okay, this might be going a little bit too far now. We know Lance is starting. Can we please just nip it in the bud? But it just seems to be carried on and on and on and on and on.
So as a neutral, as a Patriots fan, what do you make of this? Because obviously I've been 49 ahead over the last
What the arguing, or just the fact?
Just your feelings. Just your feelings. You're a Patriots fan, so obviously me, Nick, Ryan, 49ers fans. So obviously you're very level-headed in the time I've got to know you. So, and like you said the other night, you were stuck right in the middle between two extremes. And I was like you. I was like, it's getting a little bit to the point where do you step in? Do you not? You handled it well. But what's your feelings as a Patriots fan looking into the 49ers situation?
Trey Lance is your QB1 for the start of the season. Look, as much as everyone would like to turn around and say that Jimmy G has a chance of starting, as soon as you saw it come out that the 49ers have requested the trade for Jimmy Garoppolo, that's when the writing is all on the wall. You can't, that's the be all and end all. Frankly, we know Jimmy is going to go. He's not going to start week 1. I know there are not a lot of suitors out there right now. Obviously, Cleveland have now picked up Josh Rosen. I mean, that's just
the chosen one.
The Browns chose Josh Rosen as their 4th QB, I think it is, or something along those lines. I mean, you got Seattle, but I've already stated on Twitter already, why would Seattle give up draft capital and picks when they know their team's not going to be good enough this season? They're going to pretty much tank to go and get a quarterback, say, I don't know, Bryce Young from Alabama or CJ Stroud from Ohio State. So, that doesn't sink well. Someone said Atlanta could have been a prime candidate. I think that only happens if the Falcons go 0-4 to start the season. Marcus Mariota is like, nope, you're not the person for us. But I don't see where else Jimmy Garoppolo could actually go, because everyone's pretty much got their QB. I know you've got middle of the road QBs, but even they can have good days and bad days. So, as far as Jimmy G is concerned, if he finds a home for the new season, great, congratulations to him. But it's Trey Lance time. You can't just. You need to justify.
That's how I feel about it, Carl. The Fish Whisperer's just put on there, and I'm thinking, why are we still talking about this? For me,
I can tell you why we're still talking about it, because it's still an issue. That's the problem. I've got an update on me and Teddy's little conversation with Mike from Nothing But Niners, who broke about the arm fatigue, and Parag Marathe, who's still in the building. He's just tweeted, and I quote, "Nick is just trying to create drama where it doesn't exist. Me? Drama? Never. I have no beef with you, Mike." So, quite frankly, he has a beef with me, but not with Mike, even though I quoted what Mike had said. Lawrence, I've just sent you the email if you want to hop on. And obviously, Mav, still waiting for you if you want to come on. So it's me that's creating the drama and all the hate. It's my fault. So I'm very sorry, 49er family. It's all on me. This whole shit is to do with me. I'm really, really sorry.
Is that a 10 jersey you've got on there, Nick? Have you deliberately?
No, it isn't actually. It's a number 27 Adrian Colbert jersey.
Colbert.
I bought when he was drafted. Now, hopefully, he is going to join us, because if not, we'll do it again soon. But you see, I only buy jerseys if I'm a hater. So, of course, I've got Trey over there. And I obviously hate Adrian Colbert. So that's why I bought. And Nick Bosa and all the others. So that's why I buy jerseys, because I'm a hater. See? That's what I do. That's my MO. I buy jerseys because I'm a hater. Spend all that money. And that's why Carl, I've just noticed, Carl, there's no green screen and you're in your kitchen.
I'm in my kitchen, yeah. One of my lodges.
I mean, I've just noticed. I thought that was a green screen.
First of all, my lodger is sitting in the living room watching the film right now, and it'll impede the noise. And secondly, I've just got back from the pub. So
nice.
Nice.
I wish I'd have got back from the pub. I'm actually other soft drinks are available, but I'm actually drinking Diet Coke. It's only going to be the first time. It's first and last time, so don't get used to me drinking soft drinks.
I was about to say, what is really in there, Nick?
Honestly, I promise you, there is no vodka or anything like that in this. It is purely diet. Because look, and I'll prove it. Look, that one's not even open. So I can't have injected anything into that one.
It's all good.
Matt's going to join us, which is good. Lawrence will come in. I would invite Mr. Smug, a.k.a. the Fish Whisperer, on. But I don't think I can stand his bullshit at the moment. Especially, with all of the tweets that went around about George Kittle being better than Travis Kelce, and that was how we first.
That should really be the least of his worries. He should be shitting bricks right now that the AFC West is now unbelievably competitive.
Didn't you have two Mr. Smugs on recently as well? Or was my screen broke? I'm pretty sure I had double vision.
I think that was his brother.
I had Pinky and Perky, aka the Smug Brothers, on a late night show, which was hilarious. To be fair, and it was like his brother was behind him, and he was pushing his foot. And he was standing there and his mouth was working. It was like a ventriloquist act. It was really cool, to be fair, to meet his brother. George Brittle.
Yeah, I've just seen his comment now. He was on the locker room rant a couple of weeks ago. John V invited me on. And before I went back to work, Nick, I'd jumped on. And then Mr. Smug joined and he was giving Tony the Bills fan. We were having a little bit of banter back and forth, which was good to see. Like Carl said there, I didn't see any nerves in him, Carl. Mr. Smug was still very full of himself with the Chiefs' chances. So
What's the difference? He's always full of himself. That's not.
Well, yeah, exactly. There's no, yeah.
That's not a headline. That's the name of the newspaper.
It's going to be interesting. All the time they've got Mahomes, it's going to be interesting. And if he goes down, a bit like a lot of other teams, it will be interesting. Just had a DM on Twitter regarding, Trey and Jimmy. And I'm not going to say who this person is, but I'm going to quote it. It's kind of weird. Main reason why it's still being discussed is in an interview, Kyle said, if Jimmy isn't traded, he expects him to be in training camp. We are looking to trade him, but no guarantees. Now, as usual, Kyle being Kyle, everyone could be dead by Sunday. I think he said, no, there's no guarantees we're all going to be here on Sunday or something to that effect. So, again, you get the smoke and mirrors bit about all of this. I still think he's going to be with a team on a restructured deal as a backup, because if things go south with Trey, with injury or something like that, and we're left, even with how good the defense is, and we have upgraded the defense, he needs an insurance policy. And Sudfeld and Mr. Irrelevant aren't that insurance policy. That's my thoughts. Anyway, Carl, so you've been to the pub. How was that? Because we need something to talk about.
That was fine. If went down for a couple and played Killer, which if anybody in the US doesn't know what Killer is, it's basically you play pool and you try and knock a ball down to keep your lives. So that's basically what it was, and I won one of the games. Considering I haven't played pool for about 3 years, I actually played decently. But yeah,
I've just
catching up with friends with that. And if anybody has seen me or follow me on Twitter, you've probably seen some rather unusual tweets been putting out, nothing to do with sports, something that can be declined a little bit more serious. Let me put it to you this way: I've got rid of one or two toxic people in my life, and it's taken a long time in order to do that. So as of yesterday, I've officially announced that I am back, hopefully, as a content creator. It took a long while, but it's something I love doing and I won't stop doing. Even if I only have 89 subscribers currently. That's
Yeah, but the trouble is, once you start content creating again, that will go down to about 5. Very quickly, Adrian has just DM'd me on Twitter. Unfortunately, he won't be making it today.
Okay.
He's had an emergency in the hospital. He hasn't said anything else. Obviously, he was on his way to the hospital with his wife because they're expecting a child. So he is going to reschedule. He's just told me that. I know he's not watching. So, yeah, I just hope everything's all right. If you do watch this, Adrian, we're all praying for you and your wife and your unborn child, etc. So hopefully everything's going to be okay. But he will come back. He said he's going to come back. And that's the main thing. Let's bring Lawrence in. If you do watch this, Adrian, we're all praying for you.
What's going on?
Echo, etc. Lawrence, what's up, brother?
What's happening, everybody? How's everybody doing?
He will come back.
Nick, Carl, Paul, Ryan. Hello, everyone. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
there's a lot of echo coming from somewhere.
I was going to say we can, but I can hear myself from about 5 minutes ago.
I heard it when I was in the will come back. Nick, Carl, Paul, Ryan. Hello, everyone. Can you hear me okay? Yeah.
Wonderful technology. Wonderful technology.
I was going to say we can, but I can hear myself from about... I'm getting really freaked out now because I'm hearing the same conversation we had about 5 seconds ago. Well, no, not 5 seconds. A little while ago, and it's all very weird because as much as I like the sound of my own voice, and everyone knows I do because I chat shit for England, it's very, very bizarre. Oh, it stopped. Lawrence, try again.
Oh, yeah, back up.
I mean, jumping in on what Adrian said there, Nick. I mean, Carl. I mean, I don't watch the UFC, but I'd seen that guy, Paddy, after his fight last night, made about mental health and it's important to talk to people.
Paddy Pimblett. Yeah, Paddy Pimblett.
I know you said yourself recently, Carl, that like when you did Shank Club a couple of weeks ago, you said you were going down a different direction and you've rebranded your Twitter. So it's good to welcome you back, buddy, because obviously all the shows I've done, all like John V, Dion, Ryan, all speak highly of yourself. So for you to be coming back, and you must have expected the comments from Nick. You weren't going to get anything else other than that when Nick said your subscribers were going to go down. I don't know. That's just a Shank Club comment.
Well, I expected a thank you, but I just got a load of verbal abuse. But then that's Nick in a nutshell.
To be fair, and I did say this to Carl and Freddie, and I know Freddie's going to come back on when we start again. The highlight of my week and cure for insomnia was watching them two doing a live play-by-play game of either Sunday night, Thursday night football or Monday night football. I just used to put those guys on and fall asleep. So it was fantastic. I could be awake all week.
I think it was Tennessee. I think it was the Tennessee game. I think it was it was a Thursday night game. It was against Tennessee. I think it was. That was the one where Jimmy G literally shat the bed at the worst time in that game. Threw 2 interceptions in the first half, I believe.
Yeah, it was a Thursday
night
game.
Could be wrong.
No, it was anyway. Game, Carl, you are correct. It was a late night game. I got a lot of hate the next morning off non-49er fans. I remember it well. So, no, but it's good to welcome you back, Carl. I know you had said a couple of months ago you were going down a different direction with the football and the cycling, and now you're coming back just in time for the real football to start, dare I say it.
Absolutely. A training camp is literally start of this week. Tuesday or Wednesday, I think it is.
Yeah.
So, we get to finally see everyone's new prospects, everyone's new buys, and make sure to see how good they're going to be. It's just nice to be back again, back in the flow of things. So I don't think the only time probably won't be able to. Yeah, the only time I won't be able to make it probably is when I'm in London for the 2 games at Tottenham Stadium back-to-back weeks. So I'll hopefully be getting tickets on Tuesday morning, hopefully. So, and I'll hopefully bump into the Posh Steeler as well while I'm down there for the Packers Giants game as well, because that's, I know for a fact he's getting a ticket for that game specifically. So,
talking of those games, if anyone knows anyone, obviously in the UK, that wants tickets for the Vikings game and New Orleans game, I do have access to 6 tickets that were part of our original, and this is the OG's, Shank Club NFL before we started doing all of this. But none of us sort of want to go anymore. So if anyone knows anyone out there that wants tickets to that game, hit me up, DM me on Twitter, and I can hopefully sort you out. I know all 6 tickets are still going, but that's an aside. Lawrence, have you sorted out your Echo?
I think so.
Echo.
Have I?
You have, indeed, thankfully. Lawrence,
how's everybody doing? I'm well, everybody. Good to be here again. It's been a while.
Yeah,
football's about to start.
And Paul was saying it's a bit like the last show we did was the 21st of May, so it's quite a while ago. Football starts Tuesday. Looking forward to it. Looking forward to the videos that come out from all the teams, but obviously predominantly the 49ers. Scott, I've sent you the link against my better judgment. So, Scott, if you want to come on, I've sent you the link. Come on if you want to, because you can't have enough Mr. Smug, obviously. Lawrence, football starts.
Football starts on Tuesday. Everybody arrives. As we all know, all the players, we get to see them walk down that red carpet that they set up. I think we all probably have seen that on game day. They all pull up in the back and they walk that red carpet into the stadium. I love those videos. So we get to see that on Tuesday. And then game action, Niner gang action starts on Wednesday. we get to see the players on the field, the coaches on the field. So to say that I'm excited right now, obviously, would just be an understatement.
Here he is.
Yeah, for real. Mav, good evening, good afternoon. How you doing, Mav? Are you well?
Damn internet. That's all I gotta say. Damn internet. All time.
I thought you were the one who always had to get the internet, Ryan.
No, ain't never on my internet.
You damn right. It's the damn internet.
Always.
That's really weird because we had Lawrence and
Dude, it's been like
all I
that for the
could
past
hear
2 weeks.
was a big echo.
We got some weather down here, and it's just
The weather's real bad.
Yeah.
The weather's real bad.
I'm doing this on my computer. I'm surprised it's coming through, to be honest. Usually I join you on my phone, Nick.
I think that's because
Right.
he still had his own.
Yeah, we are getting you, Mav, but obviously there is.
I'm gonna turn my
slight
video
delay.
off. Hopefully that helps me out a little bit.
So yeah, Mav, welcome along. Good to see. Well, was good to see you. Now blank screen. That's fine. Tuesday, Niners. All the other teams start. Football is finally coming around. It's been a long off season.
Amen.
Holy shit! I can't wait. I can't wait for meaningful video, not shall we say video of certain players not being very good and some being better than others and this, that and the other. We are finally going to get to see what this team is going to be about, and for me, I'm really excited about it. Mav, what's your thoughts?
Well, my whole thought on the whole thing is pretty much just smoke screen, smoke and mirrors. We're hearing things from this person, that person, and they really have nothing to do with the team nor the organization whatsoever. But at the end of the day, I'm just ready to see what's gonna happen. Because I mean, we've all personally seen all these players except for the rookies, and we know what Trey can bring. We know what the running backs are going to do. We know what the wide receivers are going to do. We know what defense is going to bring. I mean, special team is the only thing that we're really, really, well, I mean, not the only thing besides trade, but special team is one of the main things that we're trying to see if it picked up a little bit. So
What's your, obviously, I don't know if you've seen my tweets over the weekend, and I promise you this is the last time I'm bringing it up. Arm fatigue, bit like Paul with his injury. No one knew Paul had an injury, but now he's back on his feet. What's your thoughts on the fact that Mike from Nothing But Niners broke? I want to say, well, it's probably the early hours for me, Paul and Carl, that the leak regarding his arm fatigue issue was from Parag Marathe, who obviously is still player personnel. What is your thoughts on that?
I look at the arm fatigue like baseball. You look at it. I've said this on numerous of times already on the other show. If you look at a pitcher, they're pitching about 100 and some pitches a game. I mean, now they've reduced their innings and all that, but I mean, if I'm taking Trey at that level, I'm not worried about no arm fatigue. Jimmy didn't throw for nothing but like 8 passes a game, maybe. So I'm not worried about Trey getting fatigued after 15 passes or so.
It was more the fact that, and I'll come to you, Lawrence, I need to step away in a sec. It was more the fact that everybody was saying it was Scangarello was the one that was leaking it, and it was all bad blood because he'd left the team and blah, where in fact it's someone that's still with the organisation. And obviously before you joined, we discussed about, leaks don't happen. Things come out for a reason, especially with this sort of thing. I'm not concerned, and I don't think I ever have been where this arm thing is concerned. I can't see how someone can throw that amount of times and his arm hurt.
Let me just say this. let me just say this. I myself personally don't believe that it was a leak at all. I believe it was just a conversation between two guys, and one person just took it as that and ran with it and made a story out of it. That's my belief on the whole thing.
Interesting. Let me just bring in Mr. Smug very quickly before I step away for a couple of minutes. I did get your message, Paul. That's fine. Mr. Smug, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm always fantastic when I'm doing this show with my friends, but then unfortunately you turned up. So you have to take the rough with the smooth, I'm afraid. You know I'm only shitting you. I'm going to step away for a minute. Carl, floor is yours. I will be back very shortly. But good to see you, Scott. We're going to cross swords very soon because you know we have to.
Okay, let me open up the floor to all the Niners on here because they're
on the
training
real,
camp coming up on. Sorry, Matt.
No, I was just gonna say how many times. Yeah, I'm here. I was just gonna say how many times do we have a conversation and then we go back explaining it to somebody else and it turns into something totally different.
I was just going to say at this point, Carl, it's nothing personal, Mr. Smug. I do have to literally jump off in a minute because parental duties, Carl. But I don't want you to think it's personal. I just wanted to say it was great seeing you on the locker room rants. When I was on the other week, I jumped off, you jumped on, and it was absolutely amazing what you're going to do for them fellas. Starting out with tickets, I was absolutely blown away by that.
Yeah, no doubt. I'd love to get those guys down here for a game. So good to see you, Paul. I hope you're healed up there, buddy. I hope you're doing good. Yeah, it's just one of those things where it seems like forever while you're going through it, and then things will be back to normal, and you'd be like, I can't believe I had to go. I went through all that, and now you're back. So that's good to see that you're recovering good, man. And look forward to jumping on sometime and keep missing each other here a little bit. So
I appreciate that. But all the rest of you fellas, I'll catch up with you later. And Carl, good to see you back, buddy.
Be safe.
You too, Paul. See you soon. See you soon.
Paul.
All right.
Be safe, Paul.
Okay, so training camp starts on Tuesday. Ryan, we'll start with you. Which is the most intriguing position that could be decided throughout training camp and pre-season? Which position? So, are we looking at safeties? Are we looking at the offensive line? What would you say is going to be the toughest battle out of all the positions for the Niners?
I think the O-line. I go for O-line, definitely, because we're going to be fighting for positions for that.
I gotta say the back end.
Good, man.
No, go ahead. I was just saying I have to say the back end.
Yeah, I say the offensive line because I know we're short on that because I know we lost Mac, because I know for a fact we're going to have probably what. We're not loaded up on the offensive line. We're not loaded up on that though. That's the problem. So if we load up on the offensive line, we'd be okay. But the back end.
Yeah, well, I mean.
Good. I'm sorry. Good.
Yeah, I mean, well, you sent at center. You got competition between undrafted free agent Donovan West and 6th round tackle turned center Nick Zakiji, of his name is, and undrafted free agent Jason Poe. Possibly even Bronxill as well. Out of those names there, who do you think is most likely to probably take the center position? Because now obviously Alex Mack is now gone. That's a big position to fill.
Yeah, it is because you have to count down right for the hiking. What's that new one we just got? Burnett or not Burnett? Oh God, I can't remember. That's what B. That's all I know. Can't remember his name though. That's any problem. Yeah, he's the one. He's the one I'm thinking that might take the center. That's if it doesn't go up to Jason Poe. That's the other one I'm thinking of.
Is it Brundle you're talking about?
Brundle, thank you, Nick. Brundle, thank you.
Brundle, yeah.
Brundle. There you go.
That's my biggest concern.
I knew it was hard to be.
Everything is the offensive line. Especially you've got McGlinchey coming back from an injury. Nobody knows whether he's fully healed or not. I guess we'll start finding out Tuesday. Obviously,
Is
Jake
he on the
Brundle.
Is he on the pup list? Is he on the pup list?
No, I don't think he is.
Everyone on our team that we, including D Ford. D Ford is not on the injured list for some strange reason, folks. If you didn't know that, D Ford is not on the injured list.
Strange.
Everyone is off the injured list. Jason Verrett, everyone is. It's strange. When I read that myself this week, I was blown away. So no, sir, he's not.
That's
everybody's
really
ready to play, basically, except for number 10.
Unfortunately, and I know Mr. Smug's laughing, I'll just take you back to when he jumped offside and cost you the game. So you
we know
can't shit on us
he's
because
a Kansas City fan, so he knows about him. Yes.
Just give D Ford a game or two. He'll get on that injury list. Don't worry.
Yeah, but we're paying him a fortune.
He's not going to make it out of camp.
It's really strange. Yeah, it's weird.
They were saying they were going to cut him.
Yeah, exactly. That's
6 weeks ago, it was reported he was going to be cut, but now he's taken off the injured list. I don't understand that.
Yeah, that could be posturing, trying to get a trade or something. Like, who knows?
Yeah, he's still questionable.
But is D Ford more tradable than Jimmy Garoppolo at this point? That's a big conundrum. Both of them, you won't get a bag of chips for, right? So
yeah, you wouldn't. 6 in one hand, half a dozen in the other. Yeah,
I mean the 49ers can't sucker themselves into trading for him like the Chiefs did. So I don't think you're going to trade D Ford anywhere. At this point, you're best just to keep him around and hope somehow this is the year that he stays healthy, because he's a hell of a player when he's healthy and on the field. The guy's got ability.
The snaps we saw him play for the Niners, we were a better team with him in there than we were.
Every snap, I would say. Yeah.
Same thing here. Our pass rush.
But I think I think he probably would now. I don't know, Ryan, Mav, Lawrence, if he did make the team, he's got to be fourth in the depth chart, maybe in that position. Yeah. Maybe even
he hasn't played in like almost 2 years, folks. If you really think about it, he hasn't played in almost 2 years.
No, I'm talking about 40.
He got injured early in the season and then missed the whole season, and then missed the whole season. He got injured early in that season, if I'm not mistaken. Missed majority of the season, and then never got it. And has not been back on the field yet. So he's fresh, I guess. But I don't think that he can play anymore. I actually think he should retire personally.
Well, yeah, I do agree with that, Lawrence. But maybe there's an outside chance he makes the team, and he can still make some money, right? And of course. And money, when you've made that amount of money, okay, do you really want to make a bit more? And obviously, I know you do wrestling videos, Lawrence, and you could say the same with wrestlers, boxers. They might.
Thank you for that, by the way.
Wrestling is a totally different thing, but you make all this money during your career and you want to hang on for maybe one more last hurrah.
Right.
You see it all the time in boxing where they get beaten and they come back, they get beaten again, and they still can't let go of that rush of the crowd and the glory and this, that, and the other. And maybe
if I can say something.
Yeah, of course.
I'm sorry, Nick. Right on with your saying, and with you mentioned my wrestling videos. Thank you for that. If you all know Ric Flair, Vince McMahon, the owner of the WWE. Woo! Right. So Vince McMahon just retired this week from the WWE, the owner, right?
Former owner.
My fault, man. Former owner. Yes, and then shit, that's crazy, man. So, but Flair, he's 77. Vince, Ric Flair is not far from his age. Ric Flair is having his third retirement final match in about a week and a half. He's like 73, 4 or 5. He can't let it go either. And he's coming.
The good
Just
thing is
same
that
thing.
means there's still hope for me to have a career in something, because obviously,
Yeah, me too. I say I can never stop. Yeah, right here, at least. Yeah.
I mean,
A lot of people never can let go.
There are a lot of fine actors that still act into their 70s and 80s. So,
yeah.
And it does make me laugh because it used to be, JV, I have sent you the link if you want to jump in and have a little chat. Good to see you, my man, JV, if you want to come in. I've sent you the link. Come in, brother, if you want to. Yeah.
That's what we need, another 49ers fan. We didn't have enough.
Well, unfortunately, we haven't got your sidekick who stands behind you like your ventriloquy person and moves your mouth by moving his feet this week. Your brother. So, unfortunately, we can't,
Oh, man.
I can't. What can I do? What can I do? You see, you didn't even come on your burner accounts. That's the thing, Scott. You see, if you'd have had your burner accounts in the chat.
Hands are on the table.
He's at the restaurant hustling. So, in other words, that means JV is just going, order up, go to that table, do this, do that.
Would you like to supersize that for $1 more?
No, but that's you. You do that when you've got your usual attire on, Scott. That's not JV. JV, he's at the coalface. He's doing stuff.
Yeah. If I would have realized that Carl was also in black T-shirt mode today, I would have gone and put some Chiefs gear on. But
yeah,
as I said before you came on, I dressed smartly to go to the pub. So,
well, there's a first time for everything, right? So. We got to be thankful for that. And I know Paul's obviously jumped off while I was away. Thank you, Paul, for jumping on. I know you had to go and do parental stuff. Hope your injury that no one's heard about gets better. No one knows nothing about that.
Hey, Nick, real
yes.
quick. Who gets more press out of an injury, Russell Wilson or Paul?
Oh, Jesus.
Damn.
Well, to be honest, Paul didn't make a hype video to come back. And no one knew about it. And no one knew about Russell. So I would say...
Look, Carl's over there just thinking about it.
I would say Paul just loses out to Russell because he didn't make a hype video to come back. And talk of Russell Wilson. And it's been a while since we've been on. How fucking corny was his Broncos up video and all that shit he did for the green screen for like when they have it in the stadium?
That's right.
What a fucking cornball.
Did you see his wife
shit.
shaking her ass? That was a real corny thing of the last couple of months. His wife's ass all over the internet and videos because she doesn't respect him like nobody else does. That's my. I'm sorry.
Trust me.
I hate you.
We
Russell,
all know.
still.
We all know who wears the slacks.
Broncos
we all know who wears the slacks.
Hey, Lawrence, you want to talk about that? You got to come on my podcast, brother.
Dude, Broncos country. Let's
absolutely.
ride.
I would love to, my dude. On the real, I would love to. I wasn't. Yeah, I don't like that kind of shit. Excuse my language, folks. Yeah, I don't like that kind of shit. And the second I saw it, I just, a lot of women tried to. I don't know where we're taking this podcast, but a lot of women tried to flip it and say it was okay. I'll let her be sexy. I don't care if she's a mom. No, no. That's what he's supposed to be able to see at home. That's my take. And she doesn't have that life anymore. She's married with children, like Al and Peg. That doesn't get to happen anymore. So, Russell, she doesn't respect you, and neither do I.
Definitely, man.
It's a weird situation when you get two people that I can't say famous. I can't. And talented. I can't even say that. But you've got the same dynamic with Beyonce and Jay-Z, but slightly different, where they're both at the top of their games. But they actually aren't annoying as much as Russell and Ciara, whatever the fuck it. Anyway.
Ciara, yeah.
Ciara, that's an old
they are on the same.
country.
But I
Yeah,
mean,
I
they
mean,
are
you
on the
can-
same level, though, aren't they? Because I mean,
Man, throw out the invite. I'd love to come
See it.
on, man.
You
I
can
got
take
you,
the girl
brother. I
out.
got you. In 3 more weeks, I got my 100th episode.
You can
Congratulations.
take the girl out of the strip club, but she's still a stripper. You know, that's just the deal with that. I mean, I don't, you know.
Or maybe I'll have to Google her a bit more because unfortunately, being with Russell Wilson, I can't have anything to do with that cornball motherfucker. But if she was a stripper, I've got to go and take a look at that shit.
Well, she wasn't. I don't think she was a stripper. That was a metaphor. Like she made a
Oh,
lot of money and
now
got
you've
famous
ruined
shaking
it.
that-
I was just
shaking that
I was
thing.
More
just
of a metaphor.
Googling. Jesus, I was just Googling.
Right.
But if I put
I mean,
in
Nick,
cornball
if you,
Russell
want,
Wilson,
if
she's
you
an
want to
R&B
see
singer.
Sierra, man, you just got to go back to her old stuff.
Right.
yeah, I
Yeah, you
I
just,
Everybody
probably
wants
liked
man,
her a
she's
lot
shaking her ass
more
all over the
before.
screen there.
I would
Yeah, I mean,
like
you
her
don't-
more than before when she got with that Cornwall to further her career. A bit like Victoria Beckham being with David Beckham. She was washed until she got with the famous footballer that is David Beckham. And it didn't
Yeah.
do her any harm, to be honest. And you do see it sometimes. People that are washed
You know,
get with someone who's still in the public limelight, and it works for them. So fair.
There's
play. So I'm
still a lot of people out there like Pete though that still like the Spice Girls and still listen to their
Yeah.
CDs. So
exactly.
I mean, you know.
exactly. I mean, I'm still waiting for Joan Collins to come knocking at my door and take me away from all of this, but I'm still waiting.
Nick,
Joan,
if you're gonna
if you're
talk, if you're
watching,
gonna talk in that
come to
sense, Nick, if you're going to talk in that sense, it's the other way around. It's Sierra that kind of elevated Russell Wilson in a big way. And I mean, let's be honest, she hit the jackpot, man. What other wives out there, celebrity wives out there, can literally say that their husband bought the masters to all their music?
Yeah. No, I don't think Sierra was building up Russell Wilson. That's the other way around. Way more people know who Russell Wilson was before he married Sierra than they know who Sierra was.
That's
What I'm
debatable,
really
to be
interested
honest.
in-
That's debatable, and it's different circles, and it depends upon the size of the circles too. That is debatable, I think. But I want to know, like, did Jay-Z buy Beyonce's masters? Does Beyonce have all her masters? Does anyone know? Or do you know, Matt? Y'all be the only person that could say something like that.
I've never heard anything about it.
Yeah.
The thing that really interests me
Yeah, I've
about
never
this
heard
whole
anything
Russell
about
Wilson
that,
and
but I'm pretty sure she has.
Sierra thing, the one thing that interests me about this whole, and it's just come into my head, when they get rid of the kids to the grandparents and they get a date night and they want to have sex, does Russell Wilson come out with a football and go, "Let's ride"?
Come on, I'm fucking eating it.
What the hell, man?
Yeah,
Just
Is
off the
that what he
top
did
of
in
my
the
head, is
Bronco
that what he
video? I
says?
didn't see the video. I saw images
honestly,
of the
go watch
corniness.
it.
yeah. He's gonna ride.
I don't
he's
think
gonna
I want
ride
to.
about. He's gonna ride to about 7-10 and miss the playoffs. Is what's gonna happen there.
I hope you're right.
It's going to be, I mean, that to me, apart from obviously, that's one of the biggest story. Well, that, and obviously his old team, and Trey Lance, and maybe the Mac attack in his second season. What do you reckon is the biggest story out of those? To me, I think it's going to be Wilson and the Broncos and how they use him and whether it's all going to fall apart at the season. I mean, I think Seattle are going to be an absolute joke this year, which is always hilarious.
So you really believe that's going to be? You really believe that's going to be the season hype right there, the Broncos?
I'm kind of erring on that, to be honest, because obviously, and you get the and I'm not comparing the two before anyone says anything. The Brady Belichick thing, and he left, and is it Brady? Is it Belichick? And now obviously Russell Wilson's left Seattle, and yes, they weren't very good last year. Oh dear, what a fucking shame. But is it who was the one that carried the team? Is it the chewing gum motherfucker or was it the cornball? So
I think it was Wilson. I honestly think it's Wilson. Carroll did him no favours whatsoever, put him a shit piece of an offensive line in front of him. It's
but
quite
he's done
ironic,
that
isn't
for
it?
years.
It's quite
That's the
ironic
thing.
because Russell Wilson at his time, apart from his run to the Super Bowl, he actually had a half decent O-line. He's had nothing since then. He's gone to Denver where he's probably got a half decent O-line, and it's quite ironic at Seattle and during their free agency and their draft picks, they go and retool up the offensive line. Coincidence?
Yeah.
Okay, ask yourself this question. Carl,
Go on.
check this out. Ask yourself this question: who was Seattle's quarterback when Pete Carroll got there, and how were their seasons looking before Russell Wilson?
Terrible.
That's what you got to ask
Am I
yourself.
right in thinking it was Matt
terrible.
Hasselbeck?
I can't. That does ring a bell.
Matt Hasselbeck took them to the playoffs at 7-9. He kept them. He kept them afloat when the divisions were pretty shaky.
Yeah, Marshawn though.
Really?
Yeah,
I mean, you look at the Seahawks. Like what happened?
Nah, he didn't get Marshawn till later.
But the Seahawks defense fell apart, and that's when that team really kind of nosedived. And when they were going to back-to-back Super Bowls and winning Super Bowls, I mean, Russ was playing great, but they had the Legion of Boom, defense, and they were stuffing people. And Russell Wilson looked like he dropped off a lot in his performance last year. He did not look nearly as mobile. He was not able to escape pressure like he had done in the past and get out and make big plays. He doesn't have anywhere near the playmaker. I mean, the Broncos don't have a receiver anywhere near as good as DK Metcalf or Tyler Lockett, I would almost say as well. Their best receiving threat last year was Noah Fant, their tight end, and he went to Seattle in that trade. I'm not expecting Russell Wilson to just come in night and day.
So in other words, Nick, what Mr. Smug is saying is neither the old man or the quarterback were the answer for Seattle. It was their damn defense.
Yeah, they dropped off, but he still got them. I mean, I think last year was the first time in a while they hadn't been to the playoffs.
Yeah, but they weren't making it. They weren't making it past wild card round.
But that's not the point. But the point is, you see, the point is to us Niner fans. Yeah, we get pissed because they make it to the playoffs, and then
once
they only go one game, and that's the funny thing. Because my best friend, who is a Seattle fan, he was gloating. Blah blah. No, Niners are garbage. Blah blah blah. And I'm like, yeah, well, that's fine. So you've made it to the playoffs. Let's talk after that. And they were awful. And they got knocked out. And I had the last laugh. And it didn't matter that we didn't make it to the Super Bowl or anything, because just to get one over on the Sea Chickens is hilarious.
Yeah.
It's the funniest thing ever. And I can't wait for the season to start. And like a lot of Niner fans, I think this year, they are going to be the bottom team with a horrendous record.
There are going to be a few. There's going to be a few. You're looking at Seattle. You're looking at Atlanta. You're probably looking at Houston still because they're a glorified mess. I mean, I'll throw one out there right now, which may be a curveball. Chicago. You look at their O-line is trash. Their receiving core is pathetic, and it's got even more pathetic now they've got N'Keal Harry. I don't see. There is at least 4 teams there that are competing for another top pick.
Yeah,
but really only 1, maybe 2 of them need quarterbacks. And this draft class coming up in 2023 is going to be very QB heavy.
Yeah.
I'm
interested to see what Justin Fields does in year 2.
It can't be any worse than what Matt Nagy did. Jesus.
Matt Nagy.
That's the thing. Everyone is saying, I know obviously Chicago, as Cole has just said, about their receiving core, etc. But it's going to be interesting to see. That's Cole. Can you mute yourself? Because all we can hear is you stuffing your face and fucking about with your plate.
What
it's
is he
gonna be
having?
interesting.
Cereal for dinner?
I don't know what he's. What did you have for dinner, Carl? Come on. What did you have?
Sounds like he's eating a bowl of cereal.
Oh,
No,
what
it's
did you have, Carl?
chicken pasta. It's chicken pasta. Nothing special.
Chicken pasta. Very nice.
Chicken
too.
pasta. Yes.
Pasta.
Pasta.
He's even got that.
it's-
He's starting to get that Boston accent going on over there.
Don't even go there.
Watching
Don't
too
even
much
go there.
Patriot games. Chicken
Yeah,
pasta.
exactly.
I've been watching some film tape in the off season. I won't lie to you.
Who's that guy that is the colour guy for the local Boston radio? He's a former Patriots player, and he's such a homer. And they're always mentioning him on Around the NFL podcast when they do their weekly. It's annoying me. I'm gonna have to Google him. But yeah, what is his name?
I can't think
think
of
of it. I'll find out, Carl. But
Was he a
yeah,
quarterback?
No. He was.
No, where QB?
He was a lineman, possibly. And I'm not gonna say what I think his name is, because the guy I'm thinking is John Travolta's character in Grease, and he ain't Danny Zuko, but it's something like that. And I can't for the life of me think what his name is. But he's such a homer, and I love listening to his unbiased or very biased takes on Boston.
You talking about Teddy Bruschi?
No. Teddy Bruschi he does occasional, like, you know, when they have the local market in the pre-season games, they bring him in because you get all these weird people doing the pre-season games, which is always hilarious because I watch them on Game Pass over here. And it's so unslick and so unprofessional. They leave their mics open, and you can hear them going, "Get me a beer and go and do this." And the cameras are moving around all over the place, and they're fucking about with the telestrator and all that. It amuses me. I do like preseason just for that.
I've never watched a preseason New England Patriots game, so I couldn't tell.
Well, no, it's every. I'm sure it's every team who have. I think.
Yeah, the Chiefs have Trent Green, who's actually really good. And does
I'll be right back.
with CBS, so we're lucky there. We get Trent Green in there for the preseason.
I mean, we've got obviously, what is his name? I can't think. And Tim Ryan, who do some of them, but you have a couple of games. I think is it 3 preseason games again this year, or are they doing 4? Is it down to 3?
It's
Thank
3
God for that.
Yeah, it's
Thank
3.
God for that. I don't think
Our announcers are good. Papa and Tim Ryan.
Yeah, who's the is it Papa? I want to say Papa Shango, but he was a wrestler, so it's not him. I can't.
Shango was a wrestler. Yeah. Great
See
Papa.
how I bring that in, Mavs? Sorry, Lawrence. See how I always bring it back to wrestling. Greg Papa, that's it. They are very good, and I wish sometimes. And let's talk about announcers for a minute, because obviously they've made a few changes. When you listen to Greg Papa and Tim Ryan, obviously over here, you used to be able to change the commentary from the NFL feed over to the local, the local feed. So we get Ted Robinson and, whoever it was. But you can't do that now. You're stuck with who you have on the broadcast. There's been a few changes, Carl, obviously in the top people, and you've got honestly, I haven't had a drink and I'm terrible with names.
Who's the guy?
You're better off drinking the same sober.
Joe fucking Play Aikman. Is that what we're talking about?
Aikman and what's it are still there. Look, I've got to have a drink. It might help me. It might hang on.
They both make me sick to my stomach. I just want to let the entire world know. I hate Joe Buck. Of course, I hate Troy Aikman. And now they've moved.
Well, they've gone over.
Yeah,
they're
the big team.
Joe Buck's a San Francisco homer, though. For the Giants, especially, he loves that dude.
Maybe for the Giants, but Joe Buck hates the 49ers. I don't care what anyone says.
About that.
Joe Buck hates the 49ers. Listen to a game. Any game, doesn't matter who they're playing. I promise you, he makes my skin crawl. I don't
I
even.
thought he was a fan of all the San Francisco teams. Maybe not though. Maybe it's just the Giants.
And was
I
it
mean,
Amazon Prime?
the person I'm trying to think. I still can't think. Sunday Night Football.
Chris Collinsworth?
No. The main Al Michaels. Al Michaels has gone.
He's gone to Amazon for the Thursday
and
Thursday
it's a
night
shame
football.
because I, as old as he is, I still think he's got that. A bit like Kevin.
Oh, he's really good.
Kev Harlan. He is the GOAT of an
from Kansas City, by the way. Kansas City.
It doesn't matter about that. He doesn't like you, so stop trying to big him up. I love Kevin Harlan, and my favourite Kevin Harlan is and it's all on YouTube, is when he was doing the Thursday night football, I think it was, or the Sunday night football. No, it would have been Thursday night, when the Niners were playing the Rams. The guy is drunk, but there he goes. They're chasing him. He's at the 30. He's at the 40. He's at the 50. Oh, somebody stop that. That is the best ever. And that game was awful until that happened. But I'm interested in the new person that's going to be with because I hate Collinsworth. And I think he's full of shit. But I love the sliding on the chair. One day I'm going to buy a chair that I can do a slide in before we start the show, because I love the sliding chair is the funniest. And knowing me, it will catch on the carpet and I'll go and have to get myself up again. But I love the Collinsworth slide, but that's where it stops. Because and when he does Niner games, we all know obviously he was in 2 of the Bungles teams that lost.
2 of them, both of them, and he hates us all.
There you go. That's why he hates the Niners. But yeah, it's going to be interesting because they've elevated Kevin Burkhardt, which I quite like Kevin Burkhardt on Fox. I think he's a good commentator. And but the GOAT for me, apart from that it's got to be Kevin Harlan. But we never ever get him on Niners games on Game Pass. Very, very rarely, unless they're playing a top AFC team, do we hear him. And if the Niners are playing at 9:25, 4:25 in the US, I'll go through all the AFC teams. Doesn't matter who's playing, just so I can hear Kevin Harlan, because I think he's brilliant. I just think he's fantastic. Carl, who's your favourite commentary team when you're watching any game? And you, like me, if your team are playing late or playing early, but you're going to stay up and watch, say, the 9:25, do you search to see who's on commentary, or is it not? Is it the teams you watch, or
it doesn't?
Who's your favourite?
If I were to be really honest, I don't really care much for the commentators on there. But I think if I had to nail it down on who does the better live feed, it would probably be CBS's commentary. I know people get really wound up about Tony Romo and that, but Tony Romo is so smart in how he describes every sort of play that happens every time. I forgot who the main commentator is, by the way, so I do apologise.
Have a drink. It worked for me. I remember Kevin Harlan. Yeah, I agree. But you see,
I think it's the lead CBS commentary of Tony Romo. I think for me personally, that actually does the better.
I would say my problem with Tony Romo.
Jim Nantz. Sorry, that was it. Jim Nantz. That was the contract. Jim Nantz. That was what I was on about. Yeah.
I would say is he is a bit of a cornball sometimes, and I love his delivery and being the colour guy, but sometimes he just gets on my nerves a bit because he's too polished and too. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah,
but I do like. Yeah, Jim Nantz.
Jim Nantz before Tony Romo, it was a little bit boring, to say the least. When Tony Romo stepped in, it actually invigorated him a little bit. Lawrence, you'll probably understand from my point of view, because obviously you do your wrestling and that sort of thing. Michael Cole, when he was commentary for SmackDown and Raw, he said he felt very bored at the time. He didn't feel like he was enjoying it. In came Pat McAfee. What happened? It completely and utterly rejuvenated him. That's what Jim Nantz
Gave him new
had.
life.
Thanks
Yep.
to Tony Rowan, gave him a new life. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I don't know.
That's how.
To me, Jim Nantz is
You're
kind
100% right. No, go
Jim
ahead.
Nantz is kind of a dweeb, and to me, it's almost like I feel like Jim Nantz feels like Tony Romo stole some of his spotlight and stole some of his thunder, and so he's like almost like trying to outdo Tony, and it almost seems like he's gotten worse to me. I don't know, that's just the vibe I get. I can't stand Jim Nantz though either. He's kind of an ass, and you can tell he's an arrogant, aloof guy who.
But aren't they all? All of the main.
Not all of them.
No,
Not
but
all
the main crews, the main like top crew.
I'll tell you who I really like that doesn't do games anymore was Gus Johnson, man. Gus Johnson was the man, dude. When that guy was on a game, I could watch a game even if I didn't care about either of the teams that were playing. But yeah, I think probably the best crew right out there right now is Kevin Harlan. And who's he usually with? Rich Gannon? Is that who is usually?
I don't give a shit. Kevin Harlan could be with my mum.
Right.
And make it interesting, right?
Right. Yeah. So that's the cream of the crop. Kevin Harlan.
He honestly, and I, as I said, I'm so pleased that he's still doing it because I've seen him. He does basketball. He does baseball. I believe he started in baseball.
Baseball. He started in baseball. Yep.
And he is the GOAT.
Hey Nick,
I can't. Yes.
Did you want me to share the commentators in history?
Go for it. I need to step away for 2 seconds, but yeah, go for it. And then when I come back, we'll discuss. So yeah, if you want to share your screen, Ryan, let's have a look at what's going on with comment. Because again, commentary when you're in this country, and I'm going back to the sort of 70s and 80s. I'm talking about soccer now. When you didn't have live soccer,
Nick, you had to share it. You had to add it to the stream.
Hang on.
There you go.
Let's try that. Is that working?
Yep,
I can't see
got
it.
it.
I need to.
Is it too small, guys? Too small? Is it too small?
Yeah, it's pretty small.
Blind.
Sorry if it's too small. Guys.
If you go full screen, it's not too bad. But yeah, when I go back to the 70s and 80s,
go full screen, guys.
Soccer, when there was no.
Thank you, Ryan. It's still helpful.
Mm-hmm. There was no
so I see
live
Romo.
TV. You had to rely on the commentary team to paint a picture, and it's like with golf now, with cricket, with any sport, you need a good commentator that's going to paint that picture. If you can't actually watch it, you need someone to paint a picture, and that's important. To me, if you can't watch something, you want to be able to visualize what's going on. Carl, who would you say was your for whatever sport? Who's your favorite commentator that you've heard? Doesn't matter what sport. And I know obviously the American guys might not. If it's something British, they're not going to understand. But who's your go-to in history of commentators?
For me personally, John Motson. It was John Motson for me. He was a commentator for the BBC back through the 50s and 60s. He was just a unique way of how he commentated during the football games. And he'll always be the go of commentary when it comes to football. I know we got the likes of Martin Tyler and that sort of thing, but no one can like Carroll to John Motson as far as I'm concerned.
And it's really funny because all of our American listeners
shaking their heads thinking, what the fuck are you talking about?
And people that are on this stream are like, John Motson, what the fuck? You do need a good commentator. Lawrence,
I have to go with John.
You watch loads of sports, so be it
Loads, yeah.
boxing. I mean, you can pick any sport. You can go with 3 of your favourites: wrestling,
three.
boxing, American football, whatever. Who describes things, even if you can't see the screen and what's going on? Who are the people that describe something that make you think, I know that's going on. I can feel it. I can see it.
For me, it was Madden, the boom. Whether I was watching him or on TV or listening to him say, for, on the Raiders against the Niners game on the radio sometimes, or Monday Night Football, Madden painted a picture for me, and he still does even in the video game. In different times that they have the sounds of his voice. And then you give me the opportunity to throw my wrestling, I will go with Jim Ross. I can't stand Michael Cole. But yes, Jim Ross it was the greatest wrestling commentator of all time to me. And if I had to, and then I'll say Vince Scully, the Dodgers announcer. I grew up, watching the Dodgers and listening to him on the radio in Dodger games that I couldn't catch on TV from a very, very young age. And Vince Scully, who's right there in the bottom right, as a matter of fact, um, was amazing to me. The way that he called the Dodger games, the way that he would break down the games and give us the information, just little nuggets and secret tidbits, things that we didn't know about the players or about the game itself, was like an artist that was painting a picture.
You see, now, excuse me, I go back to when WWF became famous, or WWE as it became famous in the UK. So I want to say, I don't know, late 80s possibly, maybe. I can't put. I loved Mean Gene Okerlund as
Mean Gene
and Gorilla Monsoon.
Gorilla Monsoon.
Loved
That's who was a commentator in the late 80s, Gorilla Monsoon. And Mean Gene was the interviewer.
Yeah. And you had Jesse the Body as his color guy. And back then I didn't know wrestling was fake. I'm sorry. I didn't realise it was sports entertainment. To me, and I can't ask Carl because he's far too young, but years and years ago, back in the Carl, you wasn't even an itch.
It was past the 90s. If it's the past the 90s, yeah. I'll let you off.
Now, in the 70s, and it is on YouTube, and you need to go and watch some of this British wrestling. We used to have a show on a Saturday from. Well, there used to be two. There used to be two that used to try and get viewers. You had World of Sport on one channel, and you had Grandstand on the other channel. But World of Sport would have British wrestling from 4 until about 4:45 when the soccer results started to come in. And I watched that religiously for years. And my mum, bless her heart, took me to a show at the Winter Gardens in Eastbourne. And you still couldn't see, and there was none of these clotheslines or, getting smashed over the head with a chair and all that. It was just, a bit of what I call cum dancing. Someone would get rolled over and they'd win. So there was none of that. And then I saw Sky in this country bought the rights for the WWF. And I watched it and I'm like, they're killing each other. What the fuck is this? And they literally look like, when they get up on the top rope and they're holding their head and they're going bang, bang, on the side of the head and all that. And I'm thinking, this can't be right. What is going on? And I loved Gorilla Monsoon. And him and Jesse were hilarious because it's, he'd go, and there's a good clothesline by Hulk Hogan. And then what's his name would then chip in and go, Jesse the Body would be the heel and he'd say something. And then, will you stop? because he's always, that's all he did. Will you start? That was his catchphrase, and I loved the early days of WWE. It was hilarious. Scott, who are your commentators? Any sport? Who are your go-to when you think of it, like ring announcers? You know there's going to be a good fight when you hear "Let's get ready to rumble."
Right.
You know that they've got that guy in for a reason, right? You know that it's
Right.
going to be a good duster.
Right. Well, so the voice of the Chiefs, and this is going to be a total homer pick, but the guy, his name is Mitch Holthus. He's the voice of the Chiefs. He does the radio broadcasts, and it's almost like you're watching it on TV. Like when he's there, the way he describes it. I mean, he tells you where they're at on the field. He describes the weather conditions. He's like, and he's running into the shade of the cloud at the 20. Like the dude is just unbelievable in his ability to just allow you to visualize what's happening. I've listened to a lot of the games on the radio, so. But as far as just like a nationwide guy, I mean, we talk about Kevin Harlan. I don't. It's tough to beat him, even if you go back decades and decades and decades. I really enjoy him because, as you mentioned earlier, he does football, he does NBA, he does college basketball. I mean, the guy does everything. He does all the sports. It's really tough to beat him. And I growing up in the 80s and 90s watching football, and to me, just Al Michaels is one of the GOATs too. The guy's been around forever. He's been doing football since as long as I can remember. And to me, he's not like, you see a lot of these guys, they try to make themselves like bigger than the game, or they try to make themselves a part of the game. And to me, he does a good job of telling you what's going on without telling you like exactly what you're seeing. You see a lot of these guys, and they just, especially it's hard when you're doing TV broadcasts to do play-by-play because you can see what's going on. And so a lot of times you get people, they're just telling you what you're seeing as you're seeing it. And to me, that's kind of boring. So Al Michaels does a good job of narrating and adding some suspense to the game with his voice inflections and telling you what's happening and commenting on what's going on without just sitting there and telling you what you're seeing as it's happening. It's kind of like, have you ever been in a presentation and someone's got like bullet points and they're just sitting there reading them off bullet point by bullet point, and you're like, I know how to read. You know what I'm saying? So
he did a very good job putting up with Collinsworth for all that time. That's all I'll say about Al Michaels.
Right.
Lawrence, I know you got to jump off, so before you go, let everyone know your channel, let everyone know where they can find you. Thanks for joining us. As ever, I really appreciate you, man.
No, first of all, I appreciate you, Nick. Thank you so much for the seat. Thank you, all you gentlemen, Carl, Mr. Smug, Ryan, everybody. Great to see you, Mav. I see you still there. Faithful. The season is
Yes,
about to
sir.
start in 2 days. I know we can't wait. I all I think about is football right now. Football, kids, and money, and food. So I'm really excited. I hope to be back on with everybody soon. Again, we have so much to talk about. Obviously, go Niners, Niner gang. And again, thank you for the seat, Nick.
Lawrence, anytime, man. You know when we go. Hopefully, we'll get Adrian back on. Disappointing,
Absolutely. I tried to get him too. He didn't answer me. So congratulations, by the way.
Trust me,
He didn't answer me at Twitter.
I've been stalking him for months, and I think most of the people I've had on, I've stalked long enough, and they're like, "Fucking hell, this English geezer
Fuck, I'm gonna just do it. All right, that's what I'm gonna start doing. Then
just fucking do it. Let's just do it. Get it out of the way, right? So, hopefully,
look for me, please. Everybody,
of
just
course.
like Nick was saying, as I can start stalking other folks and get them on my channel. Also, Platform 246 here on YouTube. Look for that emblem right there that my son drew. And again, I really appreciate everybody having me. And Niner gang, we'll see y'all soon.
No, Lawrence.
Bang bang, Lawrence.
Lawrence. All these people in here saying Madden the GOAT. Madden is a Raider. To me, I can't stand the fucking guy.
Yeah, well, we knew you'd say that, right? Because he's a Raiders.
Like every time I see John Madden, I think Oakland Raiders, and it just
Thing is, right,
puts me into a fit of rage.
Scott will never play. Scott, if there was another game on a console that he could play NFL football on, he'd play it because he won't play Madden because Madden's in the name, and that maddens him, and he can't play the game. Bizarre.
Yeah. Madden definitely maddens me. Madden sucks anyway. The best football game ever made was NFL Blitz. That game was so much fun to play. I don't know if you guys ever played that game or not, but
I remember that one, Scotty.
No.
I remember that one.
Tecmo Bowl, surely. Tecmo Bowl was carnage.
Tecmo Bowl was fun, but
see now Carl again now is scratching his head wondering what the fuck we're talking about.
I haven't played a games console since I was 16.
Yeah,
it's been 15 years since I played a games console. So about 15 years ago. As soon as I left school, I stopped playing games consoles because I needed a life.
No, I don't. I don't have. I mean, I've got a PlayStation 2, I think, and which is old as hell now. I use it to watch movies more than anything. But no, the Madden games to me, the first few were okay, but to me they got so like it was almost just like a football simulator that it was too difficult and boring to play.
You see, the only reason I ever bought Madden, and I bought a few, but the only reason was to play online. I would never do franchise or any of that old bullshit. All I wanted to do was play live. I didn't want to do any of the other shit. Mav, I know you've got to go. Mav, if you're still in here, just let everyone know where they can find you, where you are, what's your channel, what's your stuff. Let us know where we can find you, and we'll let you out of here.
Well, buddy.
Sure, no problem. Bro. You guys can catch me on the Red and Gold 24/7 podcast with my boy Ryan. Also, you catch me on my own podcast, The Convo with Mav and Cato, on Tuesday nights. And that's about it. I'm just trying to keep myself busy with more podcasts. So the more I join, I will let you guys know.
Awesome, Mav. And hopefully next time we can, we're going to, normal programs, unfortunately, people will be resuming soon. And I know that's going to piss off a lot of people, but hey, tough shit, motherfuckers. Shane Club's coming back. Mav, love you. Once we get a regular thing coming in, we'll get you back on. Appreciate you, man. Take care.
Appreciate the invite, man. You got the email. Send it to me whenever.
Got you, fam. Got you. Yeah, I'm so ready for a new season of football and what's going to happen and how it's going to happen and what's going to happen and who's going to happen.
I just booked my flights to Arizona for Week 1, Chiefs at Cardinals.
Oh wow, fair enough.
And then we hooked up with a guy who owns it's like a Kansas City Sports Chiefs kind of bar out there in the Phoenix area. He's a Chiefs fan. He lives out there. We're going to broadcast our show live the day before the game out there with me and Nick and my buddy Brandon. It's going to be dope as hell. I'm looking forward to going out there.
That's excellent. That's excellent. When you go away from your neutral ground to actually go somewhere, and they're willing to actually not only put up with you, but actually allow you to host the podcast as in that area. That's really, really good.
Yeah, it's gonna be cool. I'm looking forward to it.
Well, they'll like it until they see those mugs turn up, and then they'll be like, "No, we ain't doing this shit.
Like,
we don't want these clowns in the building."
With your 12 viewers. But no, yeah, I'm looking forward to the new season, man. It's gonna be a lot of fun. I'm gonna get to a few road games this year, which is something I've been trying to do for a while.
You're gonna try and get to Levi? You're gonna try and get to Levi Stadium for 49ers Chiefs?
I don't think I'm gonna be able to make it out there for that one. That's only, I think, a few weeks after the Arizona trip. So I think maybe another road game I'm going to try and hit is going to be like a driving distance game. So They play at Indianapolis, which is not too far of a drive from here. It's only like 8 hours. So thought about maybe going up there. Dude, 8 hours.
Me and Nick are like 8 hours. That's a fucking long ass time. That's from where I live in the south. It's all the way up near enough to, I don't know, to Glasgow, to Scotland.
Right.
That feels like a trek.
No, 8 hours isn't bad. I mean, when I went to Florida back in the spring, that's a 13-hour drive. So,
more for you than me. I do not want to break down on the I do not want to break down on the highway on the way up there.
Right. No, I mean, that's why you got AAA, man. You just call them and they come get you. But, we were talking earlier. I wanted to jump in. So I saw ESPN put out their FPI, their Football Power Index, and they had the Chargers and the Broncos with a better percentage chance. And I tweeted this out from the Twitter account to make the playoffs than the Chiefs. And I'm just like, every year they do this shit where, this is the year the Chargers are gonna overtake the Chiefs and win the division, and the Broncos could sneak up there, and the Raiders, and they've got Devontae Adams. It's not gonna happen, man. The Raiders. The Chiefs beat the Raiders by 66 points over 2 games last year.
Get ready for Josh McDaniels to go on to make a play screen on 3rd and 8s and 3rd and 9s, because guess what? That pissed me right off when he was called OC for the Patriots. That wound me up. Why are you throwing a screen on 3rd and long? It just makes no sense. It makes no sense.
Right.
So, but the Chargers have always had this. They've always had this belief that they could actually go further than what they're capable of. The problem is, though, you could take the Chargers out of San Diego. You can't take San Diego out of the Chargers.
Yeah, and
it's in their DNA. Right. It's in their DNA. They always seem to do it at the worst possible time. I mean, they have the opportunity to kick the Steelers out of the playoffs and then to go in, but once again, Brandon Stanley just overfought every single fucking play. Too cute. Right.
Yeah, their coach takes dumb, unnecessary risks that hurt the team, bad gambles, and their quarterback, New Mahomes, the guy that's supposedly better than Patrick Mahomes somehow, who's never been to the playoffs in his career, he throws 2 interceptions against the Houston Texans in the second half, and they lose, and they miss the playoffs by a game. They're just not. They're not. I don't think Khalil Mack makes that big of a difference. If you look at his stats since he left. Did he leave the Raiders and go to the Bears, or did he go?
He left Oakland, not Las Vegas. He left Oakland, and then he went to Chicago.
And since he went to Chicago, he's been an okay, maybe an average, slightly above average.
I think his first year was actually okay, but since then I think it has dropped off. He has dropped off,
and he's been hurt.
He has been hurt.
Yeah,
but they've added. But they took our best corner off us, so that's concerning to me. Obviously, JC Jackson is out there now.
Talking of corners,
Mm-hmm.
Very quickly, Travarius Ward, Scott, is it a miss? Is it a miss for you? Is it a bonus for us to get him, or is it? I'm not really.
No, that's a good get for the Niners. He was good. He was a good player. He really good man coverage, which is hard to find in the NFL. A guy that you can just stick on a guy by himself, and he's not without. You can't play corner in the NFL without getting beat here and there. I mean, he'll give up play. He'll give up plays. He'll get beat. Everybody gets beat, but especially with the way the rules are slanted in favor of the offense and the receivers. But no, I was upset to see him go. I understood that the Chiefs it was a financial issue where they just couldn't afford to pay him and keep him, and the 49ers took him. But yeah, if you go like Pro Football Focus and some of these other grading websites, he's like, as far as man coverage goes and corners, he's up there in the top 5 or 10 in the league the last 2 or 3 years. His completion percentage, giving up when targeted, things like that. He's a good player. That's a good get.
Interesting.
What about Sorry, Nick. What about Matthew? What about Honey Badger? Him obviously now he's part of the New Orleans Saints.
Yeah,
going back to his LSU days.
Yeah, Honey Badger's in his 30s now, I want to say. His mid-30s. He's 33, 34. He's on the downhill. He got a lot of criticism here because you saw him kind of shying away from contact and making business decisions. And he was in a contract year, and he wasn't happy that he didn't get a contract extension before the year started. So you saw a lot of people say he maybe lost a step or played timid. Maybe if he was playing timid or was intentionally sandbagging to get a new contract or to stay healthy to get another contract, maybe now that he's got that contract and he's signed, maybe you see him up his game a little bit. But you didn't see him making the plays last season like you did the first couple of years here and in his first few years. And he was with Arizona and then he was with Houston, right?
Yeah.
I think he's an aged player that's on the downhill side of his career. I wasn't too upset to see him go. The Chiefs got a guy, Justin Reed, who to me is a younger, cheaper version of the Honey Badger. He reminds me a lot of him. He's fast. He's physical, gets in there, makes plays. Seems like he's always around the ball when you watch tape. He gets interceptions. He hits hard. He's a good tackler. So I think the Chiefs probably got better. And if it's not necessarily dramatically better this year, the next couple of years down the road, I think Chiefs got better by moving on from Honey Badger and going to Justin Reed. But hey, Honey Badger came here and brought an attitude to our defense that was needed and made plays and was a big reason the Chiefs were a Super Bowl champion and back-to-back AFC champions. So I'm not trying to denigrate the guy. I'm not trying to talk bad about him, not say that he wasn't a good player for us. He was. But I think the Chiefs made a good decision moving on from him.
Yeah, Honey Badger was just that sort of player who can just change the shape, look of a secondary just by his mere presence on the field.
He can play corner too. He can play slot corner. He can play deep safety. He can play box safety. The guy's a versatile.
He was a versatile secondary player.
Thing is, do you think with the likes of the Honey Badger, like you said, Scott, and we are going to wrap up pretty soon, he, as you said, he's over the hill now and he still believes his own hype, still thinks he should be paid as a top positional player, etc. And I get normally players in a contract year or the season before start to carry on or emulate what they've done before. And as you said, last season he didn't look.
Well, I think you see that more with offensive players. Because when you're playing defense and you're out there putting your head in there and getting hit, and trying to tackle, I think you see a lot of defensive players maybe take a little bit easier, make some business decisions more. Because offensive players, not the defensive players don't get paid on stats, but offensive players, wide receivers, running backs, quarterbacks, guys, tight ends, they get paid on production and stats, and not so much as a defensive player. I mean, a defensive player can have a lot of tackles or he can have some interceptions, but there's a lot of playing defense that doesn't show up on a stat sheet or a box score. I think you might see a little bit more effort out of an offensive player in a contract year than a defensive player.
That's sorry. I just need to ask, obviously JV's just chimed in. Carl, did you move your office?
No. No, I haven't. I haven't moved my office to the kitchen. The green screen room is still in my living room as we speak. But I was just laid back from the pub when you messaged me saying I sent you the link, so come on. I was like, oh, right, okay, well, I'm not gonna get myself sorted, so I'll just do it in the kitchen.
As the actress said to the bishop.
Tell John
we need to know.
McNuggets. Tell John B the chicken McNuggets are burning in the fryer. They need to be switched out. He needs to get off the comments and go take care of the business.
JV, he's throwing flames and heat at you, saying, and funny saying that, this is from the man that wears a McDonald's outfit when he's normally on the show. So you know all about the chicken nuggets going wrong in the...
I do.
I bet you took some time off to start a cooking channel. There you go. Carl, is it Cooking with Carl is your new channel?
No, it's not cooking with coal. But I was a chef for 6 years, so that's not a lie either. I was a chef for 6-7 years. So, but no, it's
What
not.
went wrong?
No.
What went wrong? Did you
I just didn't
kill someone with food poisoning?
No, I just didn't like the unsociable hours. It was just grinding me down.
Yeah.
When you have one weekend off in the space of 3 to 4 months, that's when you know you need to get out of it and find something a little bit more suitable. So
It's interesting you say that about.
So the last 10 years, I've been working in warehouses, working as a forklift driver, and I haven't looked back since.
It's interesting you say that about that because, and I love Gordon Ramsay. We're going off on a really big tangent. Gordon Ramsay is the GOAT of TV chefs. Scott, I'll let you respond to this before I talk about Gordon Ramsay. There you go. Respond to this comment from JV.
Oh,
Hey, man, it's pretty hard to mess up canned soup and frozen pizzas, John. So, no,
that's what I learned, you
need to
see.
make a
And
trip up there.
quick story. I moved, obviously, and everyone knows I'm getting divorced, and it's coming through in November. Can't wait. Brilliant. So I moved from a town where if you had just the Deliveroo, I'm trying to think, all apps are available.
Uber Eats, all that sort of caper.
You can get a Subway, and that's it. That's it. Couldn't get anything else. So I've moved back to the town of my birth, and I can eat takeaways every night. Different stuff, this, that, and the other. And it's the way things are with the cost of living and buying diesel and fuel and this and that and the other.
Tell me about it.
I've started cooking again, and I found back my passion for, and I love cooking. I
do too.
And it's nice that you get a thing and you think, oh, what am I going to cook tonight? And you think, oh, I know, I'll just have, I'll Google whatever it is you want to cook, a stew or this, that. Right. Get the raw ingredients, cook it, chop it, blah, 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 and do it. And it's so satisfying doing home cooking. Admittedly, yes, I do have an unfortunate thing that Just Eat and Deliveroo keep sending me 20% off, 15% off, free delivery, and it does fuck me a bit sometimes.
No, I enjoy cooking. I do a lot of my own cooking here at the house, and I'm gonna make it up there sometime and check out John's restaurant. That's gonna happen here at some point.
Definitely.
I missed that. What did he say?
Wow.
Sorry.
God.
Hang on. God. I'll put it back up. Listen, if you do go to JV's, restaurant, you need to do a live stream and get me involved because it will be the funniest. In fact, if it happens, I'll host it because obviously I've got Wi-Fi.
No. I've got a challenge for John V. If he ends up doing that and successfully does it, he needs to post it to Twitter, and if he gets over 10,000 likes on it, I will wear a Nick Bosa jersey on one Shank Club NFL show.
Damn. Well, I don't. 10,000 likes, that'd be a lot for me. I don't. I got to get to 1 before I get to 10,000.
Yeah, you've got to get 1 like, Mr. Smug. That's the thing. That's the thing.
I've already purchased my new Patriots away jersey. That's coming in the next couple of weeks. I don't really want to purchase another jersey because I'll be bankrupt. So.
Right. Yeah. No,
that's the thing with jerseys in this country. And yes, I'm a fake Trey fan, and everyone knows how much I spent on my Trey Lance jersey, but I'm a fake fan. So to be fake costs a lot of money in this country.
Right. Yeah. No. For sure.
The only way you get the proper stuff is you got to fly overseas to get it.
Can you imagine? John V just put in. Can you imagine a Shank Club NFL road trip to that restaurant?
I don't make it to the freaking destination.
That would be epic. Yeah, we probably wouldn't. JV.
We'll get stuck at customs probably.
JV would have to come and pick us up from the hotel room because we'll be all trashed.
Right.
And just
I've
bring
been,
us in.
I've been waiting to catch a Kansas City Royals baseball game up there in Cleveland, up in John's neck of the woods, but they keep scheduling the games on, just not great times for me to be able to get up there. But his boys, the Cavaliers, just drafted my guy, Ochai Abaji from KU, Kansas Jayhawks. So maybe I'll have to come up there maybe this fall or this winter sometime and catch a Cavs game instead of a Royals game. But that's still going to happen, John. You're not getting out of it.
See, the thing I think about when you talk about Cleveland sports and you talk about baseball is Major League, one of the funniest movies ever.
That's a top five sports movie.
Easily. I do love Major, and I have no interest in, but to me, baseball is like 6 hours wasted.
I think baseball for Nick, you'll probably get this. Baseball to me is a bit like cricket. It's more you'd rather participate in it rather than watch it.
Yeah, no, that's a fact. Baseball is fun to play. It's a lot more fun to play than to watch. But to me, you just got to be able to get in the right mind frame for baseball. It's a casual sport where if you got it on the radio or on the TV, you can get some other stuff done. You're not hanging on every play every second. There's not a play every second, like in football or every 20 seconds. And to me, like, baseball is kind of dramatic because it'll be boring, and then all of a sudden something happens and it's exciting. Someone hits a home run or a couple guys get on. Next thing you know, the game's gone from boring to on the line, and it's a different experience. You just got to learn to appreciate it for what it is.
So the problem for me with
you missed that small time segment because you're in the stands getting a fucking hot dog and a beer. You missed it.
Yeah.
The problem for me with baseball is it would ruin a good sleep because I'd be asleep in the stands after having a few beers and a few hot dogs. And as you said, something will happen and it will wake me up and ruin it. Sorry, JV. I don't, to me, I don't get baseball at all. I can't see why. And I remember watching a San Francisco Giants game and I don't know how many years ago it was. Recently, probably, 5-6 years ago. And it was to get in the playoffs or to do something, I can't remember. And it was like 2-2 going into the top of the 16th inning. And I'm like, is this shit ever going to end? Because I just want someone to win. I can't be doing with 6 hours of just watch. I just couldn't, and I'll never get it. At least with the NBA, and again, I haven't watched that for quite a while. It's over quite quickly. And talking of the NBA, Carl, have you and my nemesis, the man I like to? Well, no, I don't hate Teddy. Bless his heart. His heart's in the right place. Teddy, if you watch it.
Charlie down.
Tell me, how's that gone? Did someone get blocked? What's happened with my man Teddy 2 rings? Because I have to call him that. What's been going on?
Let's just. But before everyone gets the wrong end of the stick here, okay? I was fine with Teddy 8-6 for San Francisco 49ers purposes. I had no problem in whatsoever. It was when the NBA Finals were on. It was between the Celtics and the Golden State Warriors. Okay, NBA the Warriors fan, me being a Celtics fan. I always make my predictions at the start before Game 1 even starts, so I know that once I made that prediction, I'll just stick by it and I'll just leave it at that. Okay. I'll also post on Twitter as well. Great if we win, and if we lose, we were pathetic, we were poor. Well done to the opposing team. They win. I'm a respectful fan, okay? In Game 3, when we went 2-1 up, we dominated the Warriors. We didn't have as many turnovers. We had better scoring in the paint. We had better free throws. Everything sort of statistical measure you could think of, okay? Now, most fans would turn around and go, yep, okay, fair enough. Yep, you beat us fair and square. We move on to Game 4. Teddy decided, thinking the reason why Golden State lost Game 3 was because apparently we were playing dirty. Instead of actually watching the game and looking at the freaking statistical scoreboard that actually showed up. And me and him got into a little spat over it. It ended up blocking me. And it's quite and the irony is this, okay? Is that when Golden State won Game 6, and I tweeted out saying, "Well on Golden State, congratulations. We turned the ball over too many times." You know, Scott and Ryan will agree to this because we turned the ball over more times than a fucking bakery does. So I was like, that's it. Sport's over and done. And I can just chill, relax, enjoy my festival season. But no, I posted a little comment out, and then Teddy86 jumped on the bandwagon and said, "How did that pan out?" I was like, I can't remember what my tweet it was, but it was something on the lines of, "Oh yeah, look who's crawled back from the stone crawled back from under the stone that they came from. Why don't you just admit you lost Game 3 and then we'll talk for the rest of the season?" Did I get a response on that? No.
Wait, Teddy has blocked you.
No, he did block me. He then unblocked me when Golden State won Game 6.
Fuck it, I wish he would block me.
Yeah, that's lame, man.
With his absolute
that's lame. Like,
fucking...
you gotta be a...
Listen, but here's my thing, okay? I learned this early on in the season, okay? And that was this. I've got no problem with opposing fans if they're going to be respectful and admit that their team was poor and the opposing team were the better team. I don't have an issue with that. That's a respectful fan. It was a 49ers fan actually commented on me and said, "Really good series. You just turn the ball over so many times." I said, "Can quite agree." I need to go back through my Twitter to actually find out where it was. But when people just are just using a victim complex because they feel like their team just got cheated out of a game, that's when I know that you are a delusional fan. You're also an arrogant bastard at the same time. And that was my beef with Teddy regarding of that. That's the only little spurt I had with him. So
I obviously can't.
That's the reason why. That is the reason why. If you're respectful when your team wins or loses, I have no issues with you. But if I tried to make a point and you just keep backtracking going down the dirty card, then I wash my hands off you. It's as simple as that.
Right, we're gonna get up out of here soon, but I need to pose 2 questions. Now, obviously, we got me and we got Ryan, who are Niner fans, and we've got 2 neutrals. And Mr. Smug has already been asked this question, but I'm going to ask it again. Fuck it, it's my show. I can. Teddy, 2 rings. If you're watching, I'm not making this a personal dig at you. Okay, I'm just going to spit some facts that you brought out, but now already you're reversing. Right? You're reversing. So, Carl, Teddy 2 rings, as I now know him, or Teddy H6, whatever. Trey Lance has the potential to be better than Joe Montana, point 1, before you answer. And he's going to win 2 rings in 4 years on his rookie deal. He stated that, and he loves, and it's a Americanism, receipts. He's got receipts for me being a hater, etc. I've got receipts of him saying those 2 things. So, point 1, potential to be better than Joe Montana. What say you?
He has potential to be TV. He definitely has the talent to. And obviously him being very, very mobile and that, he can make plays with his legs and so on. So he does have potential. 2 Super Bowl rings in 4 years. Mahomes has only got 1 in 4 years. So unless Trey Lance throws 65, 70 touchdowns and absolutely throws up, 6,000 yards? it's unrealistic. The 49ers have got the 5th hardest schedule in the NFL. They've got some tough matches this season. He will hit the rookie wall at some point, just like Zach Wilson did, just like Mac Jones did, just like Trevor Lawrence did. He's going to hit it at some point when he plays up against a really, really good defense. But Kyle Shanahan is an offensive genius. So, but I'll put it this way, okay? If Lance wins a Super Bowl in his rookie contract, I would say, yeah, that I could probably understand that, because you have got a Super Bowl caliber team at this moment in time. Right now, the 49ers have that team. But it's going to take time for this quarterback to actually get accustomed to it. Everyone can say all they want about how he was at North Dakota State and the 2.5 games he played last season. They're just the 2.5 games were just a sample size. You can't really take a lot into consideration for that. And as far as North Dakota State goes, Carson Wentz came from North Dakota State, and look what happened to him. Not to mention as well, North Dakota State is in a is a school which doesn't have a lot of competition. I mean, Scott, who is their main rival? North Dakota. It's not Marshall, is it? By any chance?
Something like, I don't know. They're
something like that. So it's really difficult. He has the potential to do it. I want Trey Lance to succeed. I want Trey Lance to succeed. I don't hate on anybody at all that comes to the NFL, because it's their dream to do so. But Trey Lance, let's see how he gets on his first year. If he takes off, then I will probably reevaluate this at the halfway point in the season. But I still think he's going to have problems. I still think he's going to run into a few problems.
Funny enough,
and he's going to throw some interceptions as well. Most quarterbacks in their first year start do.
Live tweets from my boy Teddy Two Rings. So someone said Trey Lance will be a top something QB this year, and I then said fantasy or real, because obviously a lot of people are high on Trey Lance being a top fantasy QB. Okay. And he then said real life. This isn't Teddy, by the way. So I replied, okay, let's hope you're right. Me, I just want him to be the best he can. No expectations. Teddy Two Rings then says, cop out. I reply, no. And then he said, what is your prediction? I've put out, I think we can win 10 games this year.
That's reasonable.
8 to 10, and then I've reevaluated, which I did on the show. I can't remember who was on, and I've said 10 games. But that's not all going to be on Trey's arm or Trey's legs. That's going to be deep. Whoever's the QB, right?
They win 10 or 11 games with Jimmy. So
it's defense, it's special, it's everything. So if I was relying just on Trey, and I'll bring you in a minute, Ryan, just Trey with those weapons and mediocre defense, let's say, 6 to 9. Just on Trey, not the defense, not the special teams, 6 to 9 games. If we didn't have the defense that everyone thinks they're going to have. Ryan.
So,
based on, I'm not going to, I'm bearing in mind this is live and I don't want you to get flamed like I do.
Yeah. I'll just take down my kids real quick.
Teddy and by the way, we are earlier, I don't know if you heard, me and Teddy Two Rings are having a charity bet. He says that George Kittle breaks the tight end all receiving records this year with Lance for one game. We got $100 bet. So let's start with that. Yes or no?
How many? 1,000 yards you said? How many yards you said?
No. One game, and it's like 230, whatever it is, for a single game. in a season, he said Trey Lance and George Kittle will break that record.
Well, how long is the record again? How long is the record again?
Hang on. I will.
I didn't have it
I'll
up.
let Carl Google it
Okay.
very quickly to find
Sorry,
out
Carl,
what
I
the
didn't mean to
single
make you
game
work, sorry.
record is for a tight end. So that's point one. Point two.
Single game record for a tight end, did you say?
Yeah, receiving yards, because Kittle got close to it with Jimmy 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Something like
He
that.
almost got close to it, too.
And
Almost
then
got close
they
to it.
stopped throwing to him for some bizarre reason. And I know he's going to backtrack on this, Teddy, too. I know he is, because he's already told me. Sorry, go on, Carl.
So the record right now is 214 yards by Denver Broncos tight end Shannon Sharp. He had 12 receptions for 214 yards in the game against Kansas City, wouldn't you believe?
Oh, so what a shame Mr. Smug's not here to... Yeah, funny that.
I believe it can be broken. I believe it can be broken. I believe it can. But one game,
honestly think
I believe
for one game he will break that record.
Yeah, I believe it can. Yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I appreciate your opinion, and you know,
I'll be getting Kittle in fantasy anyway. So because
if I can make a wager on that on the betting apps in the UK, which I doubt I will have some of that.
Just go to a bookies. Just go to a bookies and ask. They'll probably give you. They'll probably come up some sort of.
Oh look! You mentioned. Sorry, Carl. We were talking about the record game for a tight end. Can you just read the stats again, please?
I'll have to
more work.
Who owns the record for the for tight ends? The receiving in a single game.
I think that'd be Kittle.
Nope.
But the interesting thing, Carl, read the stats. The interesting thing is, watch Mr. Smug's face when this is read out, because I want to see what it's like to suck a lemon without sucking a lemon. Carl, hit it.
Okay, the record is 214 yards, 12 receptions, and it was Denver Broncos tight end Shannon Sharp.
Against?
I thought Kittle had like a 220-yard game or something.
Nope.
That's one game.
Against
Kittle,
who, Carl? Carl, who?
Oh, sorry, it was against Kansas City.
And?
You're killing me, man.
Just to put the context, George Kittle did almost break the season record. He had 210 yards, and that was against Denver in 2018.
That's one game. Who's led the league in receiving the last 6 years combined?
I'll tell you who's led the lead in blocking, but that's another
Travis
story.
Kelce.
Shut up. We're coming.
He had 210 receiving yards, 7 receptions, 9 targets, and he averaged 30 yards per reception.
I love Scott's answer. I love Scott's answer. I love the Scott's answer.
Yeah, honestly, he's got so many splinters in his arse. It really hurts him when he gets up.
I think what's his face, the guy that was with the Seahawks for a half a season, has the record for most touchdown passes in a single game with 7. Matt Flynn or something. I mean, who cares? That's one game. Big deal.
Well, the thing is, right, and Ryan, I'll ask you the second part of what Teddy Two Rings said. 2 rings, 4 years. What say you? And bearing in mind, he's already dialing both Super Bowls and his other predict. He's already dialing them back because he doesn't want to be wrong. But what do you think? 2 rings in 4 years? Don't be a homer, Ryan. Be realistic.
Sorry, she knocked my mouse away.
By the way, that's great glockenspieling or whatever it is in the background.
Yeah, my daughter. My daughter.
She needs a recording contract very soon.
2, 3, and 4 years. Like Carl said, he actually took everything I was gonna say. Actually, his potential. Yes, he could be like Joe Montana. Yes, but I don't think he could ever be better than him. I don't know. He'd be like him, but not better.
But will he be? That's the thing.
Yeah, and will he be? Yeah, will he be?
Anybody can get on there and say, "Oh, he could be as good as this guy, or he could be as good as this guy." And then when he's not, you say, "Oh, I said he could be. I didn't say he would be." And then if the guy does do it somehow, then you sit there and say, "See, I told you so. I told everybody." To say someone could do this or has the potential to do this is just say he will or he won't. Like take a side. That way you can't ride the fence and waffle back and forth and never be wrong about anything. That's the irritate. That's the shit that annoys me. But again, I don't really care. I mean, I don't.
Yeah, you don't care because you got Mahomes and everything in your garden, Mr. Smug, is rosy.
It's looking pretty good. But I can't wait for football. I really can't. We need to get back to how we do shit and lone wolves and Ryan picking the Patriots even though he doesn't believe it because otherwise his wife's going to hit him with a fucking rolling pin over the head. We're getting close, man.
We're getting exactly. We are.
Is that like the first preseason game is what? Middle of August? 14th of August? Along those lines? Or August 12th?
Yeah, I think it's like
so we're literally right on the doorstep.
And I can't wait for the first 2 preseason games to see Nate Studfeld and Mr. Irrelevant. So worth fucking getting up for, right? So I just can't wait. I did ask you earlier, Carl, and I think I had to step away. What are your expectations for the Mac attack this year?
More improvement from last year. From what he's been doing in the off season, obviously now he's changed his diet. He doesn't look as flabby as he used to be. He's grown a bit of muscle. Most importantly of all, though, Mike Giardi spoke about this, and that was the fact that he has taken more of a leadership role, not just for the offense, but for the entire team itself. He's been described as someone who is very mature for the age that he is at currently. That to me is extra steps. I think for Mac Jones this year, it will need to be improved upon. 30 touchdowns and less than 11 interceptions, possibly. So I expect
when you say he's changed his diet and his routine, do you mean he ain't going out on the piss anymore?
It wasn't even going out on the piss. He's just laid off the ice cream. That was his Achilles heel. He just laid.
See, that's where I'm going wrong because I do like a Magnum ice cream. That's why I'm such a fat bastard because I eat too many Magnums. It's got nothing to do with beer. But anyway, right, we are going to get out of here. AC, Adrian Colbert, will definitely 100% come back on. Sorry for anyone that tuned in to see our interview with him. But unfortunately, he had an emergency at the hospital we had to deal with. I don't know any more. I don't know any less. But he said, and he promised me that he's coming back on very, very soon. So we'll look forward to that. Joe Valerio, he's coming back. I know Mr. Smug, Carl, Ryan. We love our chats with Joe. He's been very busy with work.
Joe is excellent.
Things have happened, and I actually saw his touchdown from Joe Montana a couple of weeks ago, and it was hilarious. I just thought I'd just see, because obviously he talked about it, and even the commentators were like, Joe Valerio, he's got a touchdown. What's going on? So, Joe, we're going to get you back on. Jesse Sapolo, I am going to bug him until he comes back on. Trust me. I will get Jesse back on eventually because we all love a bit of Jesse. Carl, final thoughts. Let everyone know where they can fall asleep watching your channel when you bring it back on.
Funny. Right, you can find me on Twitter, KD Sports 31. And obviously, yes, my YouTube channel will be back up and running soon, but I need to do a little bit of tinkering around with it, so get it right to how it should be. And obviously, the format will be changing as well. It's not going to be all 32 teams. It's just going to be It's going to be 2 to 3 teams over multiple sports that I support. Okay, so that's how it's all going to pan out. On Monday, tomorrow night rather, I will be guest appearing for a football podcast, not an NFL, an actual football podcast called Daddy and the Don, previewing the Premier League, which is coming up in 2 weeks' time. Starts in 2 weeks' time. Tuesday, we have got our demo podcast for Patriots Touchback. That's basically our new one we're doing here in the UK. I've been asked to co-host along with it with a guy called Nick Cosgrove. So that's our demo podcast before we get ready. And just looking forward to get back with the Shank Club. And the last thing I'll add to this as well, okay? I'm sure everyone has seen, if you're not a UFC fan, you would have probably seen the videos that had gone out regarding Paddy Pimblett, what he said after he won his fight, in regarding of his friend who ended up killing himself, committing suicide. Men's mental health is so bad between us as the ages of 21 and 45. So please, if you are feeling down, if you've got anything on your mind, just talk to someone. Just simply talk to someone, because it will help you. This last week, I've spoken to my best friend, and he's been an absolute rock to me. Just talk to someone, please. That's all we ask.
To be fair, Carl, and that's a very good point you raised, because I think it is men's mental health awareness.
Men's mental health awareness.
Possibly.
Yeah.
And we all know I've fought my demons. Everyone knows that. And I've reached out to you. I've reached out to Ryan, Scott, loads of people. And to me, this is therapy. And it is therapy, because we bullshit, and I wind everyone up, because that's just me. And it does help. You need to speak to someone. So if you are anyone that's watching, you are feeling down, and we all have our demons. I mean, Scott, I'm not going to bring up your history, but I know it. And, we all need some help sometimes, right, to overcome those things. And to me, it's very, very important. Male, female, whoever, don't suffer on your own. There's always someone that will talk to you. There's always someone. And it doesn't need to be a professional, because sometimes you need to go, fucking hell, Scott. George Kittle is garbage. And it's pissing me off. He's George Brittle. Oh, and by the way, Patrick Mahomes has been overpaid by about $30 gazillion. And oh dear, Tyreek Hill isn't on your team anymore, motherfucker. We all
Patrick
need
Mahomes,
to.
Patrick Mahomes is under. Hey, if Kyler Murray's getting $48 million a year, Patrick Mahomes is underpaid.
Oh, don't start. Don't.
Yeah, but Kyler Murray is obviously being paid.
That is an absolute
Patrick Mahomes is like the deal of the century.
Kyler Murray has achieved the same in his 4 years as Matt Jones has in his rookie year. Made the playoffs, one and done.
I love the fact. See, now I was trying to be all serious and talk about mental health, and then Scott has to bring up the contract. But we are going to get into that very soon. Carl, if you're around next Saturday, and anyone else, I think we should restart the Shank Club NFL first week of training camp, just because. And it's been great to be back. Unfortunately, the show I set up obviously went a bit due south, but we've had Mav, we've had Lawrence, we've had Paul join us, and we've chewed the fat. John V's been in the comments while he's stirring the wedding soup or whatever it is he's stirring and flipping at his restaurant. Ryan, let everyone know where they can find you, what your channel is. yada yada yada.
I can commend to John V because he works at a restaurant, and my wife's actually works at a restaurant. He should know that she works at Denny's, and she's been there for about 10 years now. So, and she cooks, and she's an amazing cook. So, yeah, she works her ass off for there. So, basically, Carl, Scotty, it was great seeing you guys again, man. It really was.
Yep.
Me and Matt, of course, on the Red and Gold 24/7. Of course, you catch the other guys on their phones with it. Of course, we call my Coach Ron, GM Mike, Drewski, and TJ. Please. Of course.
Your daughter sounds as pissed as I am at the moment, man.
So, basically, catch all of us on Thursday. It'll be on Thursday at 10 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. UK time, and 7 p.m. Pacific. And of course, Faithful Empire on Saturday or Sunday. We just go by the time. So, of course, you gotta do that when I'm doing this, right? Of course you do. She was quiet the whole time you guys are talking until now.
It's great because she obviously saw the cue to act up, which is great.
That's all I got.
Yeah. Ryan, it's great to have you back on the show again. One of the OGs of the show, being in your car and crap internet, etc. So it's always good to have you back on, brother. I love you.
Very welcome.
Thank you for joining. And don't ever tell anyone that I was the one that made you start doing this shit. Because you'll get me a bad rep, right? Don't ever tell anyone. Mr. Smug. Mr. Smug. It's going to be a bad season for KC, and we're going to see it all live every Saturday in our prediction show. And I honestly think, and Carl, just to throw you on the spot, we need a lone wolf prediction league. Next year.
I'll set it up.
And
I'll set it up.
Obviously, what we'll do is people that don't come on every week. So, I mean, Scott's going to be here every week. Ryan is, so we'll have the usual suspects. So Dion, JV, etc. And then the fans will be the ones that don't come all the time. So probably, I don't know, Freddie or, so we'll set that up. But I think Mr. Smug, if he's going with KC, could be a lone wolf for quite a while. But anyway, Scott, let everyone know and your burner accounts where they can find you, everything you do. And again, I know we chat shit, but I know. All right, and
yep,
you're real, brother. You're real, and I love you.
Well, I appreciate that. I love you too, man. You guys are good dudes. All you guys, it's a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to getting the season started back up. If you're watching this and you're interested in some Chiefs coverage, it's at Chiefs Kingdom Live on Twitter, on YouTube, all that shit, man. Facebook, Instagram, pretty simple. Training camp started up this week. They're already in, getting ready to do padded practices here coming up. So right around the corner. Look forward to seeing you guys on Saturdays again.
100%. We will be going live again this Saturday. We may even go live Sunday. I've obviously got to speak to Adrian Colbert, see what's going on, see when he can join, etc.
And Nick, if you go live around 10 o'clock Eastern, I will be in my car. Hate to say it.
Oh, so it's going to be back to the.
Yep. I have no choice. I got no choice. I take my wife to work in the morning.
That's fine. Listen, you can join when you. Yeah, exactly. You can join when you get home. It's fine. Honestly, you don't need to join when you're out and about because we all know that you get that, then you get that, and then you get, and then maybe just join when you get home. It's fine. But
I just want to let you know about it. So I just want to let you know about it.
That's fine. Everyone that came in today, thank you. I've loved it. It's been very therapeutic for me to be back in front of a camera. Teddy Two Rings. What can I say? Back the fuck up with that truck, because apparently a week before the season starts, he's giving his final prediction. So we'll see. I'll keep receipts. But at the moment, 2 Super Bowls in 4 years and the potential to be better than Joe Montana. Teddy, I love you. You're my foil on Twitter. I just love it. Everyone, thanks for joining. Sorry Adrian couldn't come. Look, I even put his jersey on, and I'm a hater. Number 27. Look, and look how worn it is. Look. So it tells you it's authentic. I haven't been washing it and then rubbing it up against the brickwork outside to get it. You know, I didn't just get it last week. Adrian, we will get you back on. Thank you, everyone, for joining. This is the Shank Club NFL. I'm Nick. That's Cole. Scott. Whatever way it is. Down the other bottom bit. Ryan, thanks, everyone else. We'll be back next Saturday, 2:30 UK, 9:30 Eastern, for some more bullshit. So join us. Take care, everyone. Stay safe. And don't forget mental health. Speak to someone. Take care, y'all.